hello everyone. I am making a tier list completely off the cuff for no reason. I'm recording now, for those who didn't know. I don't know, someone asked, like, hey, which welfare is the best for every class, and then I was like, dude, I'm bored of this quest, so I'm gonna go, make a whole tier list. So, yeah, everyone get it out of the way, just say hello YouTube, and hi YouTube, and everything. The thing that everyone in chat always says when we're making a YouTube video. But yeah, completely off the cuff, that's what we're doing today. So get right over into it. And don't worry, I'll be pulling these up as we go, and we'll just be talking through them. But basically, I'm just going to be going over what I think of them in gameplay. Like, some of them are more farming related, some of them are more challenge quest related, and I want to strike some sort of balance in that. Like, if I don't think they have any farming relevance, I'm not going to rate them based off of lack of farming, because I don't think that would be very fair, because, like, some of these are very much not farming related. But other ones are pretty damn good. Yeah, you know. Anyways, got that out of the way. Let's start right off the bat with the one that everyone loves to hate, Lily. So, starting right off the bat, once again using the same turn of phrase, we've got Saber Lily, the very first one. So her internals are pretty standard, like Buster Art Stack, not good hit counts because, like, literally 6th servant in the game. But, yeah, it's alright. Alright gains. But basically, yeah, she started off with one of the amazing skills known as Instinct, but they fixed that recently, and now it's actually a pretty good skill. So it went from 14 stars to 15 stars, but you also got a 20% charge and 50% heal rate for 3 turns, actually. So you can actually get some usage out of that if you're using other servants to heal, like Hans or Merlin. And then she's also got her own heal, which we'll get to a little bit later. Then, unfortunately, I mean, it would have been cool if it was a 30% battery, because that would have meant that she could 3-turn with Vich Oberon, but, I mean, you don't have to have everyone be everything, you know? Then she's got a Mana Burst. It's alright. 50% boost in damage for her NP for 1 turn. It's annoying that it's only 1 turn out of 5 turns, and, like, we've got all sorts of skills these days that have this amount of value with a lot better uptime. But, like, for what it is, like, in a vacuum, it's okay. And then this is kinda not that great. Like, it's Team NP generation. It's once again, like, one of those year 1 skills. Like, it's not bad, it's just like we're so used to, like, way better things these days, because, like, 20% NP generation on a skill and a 5-turn cooldown, you expect something else like an attack buff and a crit buff or whatever. Because, like, for example, we got Summer Ibuki with 30% NP gain for the team, and 20% attack and 30% crit. I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back to Ibuki. But in a vacuum, it's an okay skill. It pushes her NP gain up to almost, I think it's almost a 2% arts card, which is pretty damn good. And it also affects the damage taken NP gain slightly, so you can almost get up to 4% per hit, which doesn't sound like that much, but there are situations where it's actually pretty nice. And you can also get more NP gain off of, like, your team with it. So, that's pretty nice. She gets her pins really easy because she's in the gacha, the FP gacha, although you'd need a lot of FP for that. It's free. And anti-caster is okay. If you're up against a lot of enemies, it's nice to have an advantage against a caster because they give you more NP gain. And then her NP is kind of interesting. It looks really vanilla because it's just like, it heals herself for 2,000. That's it. But something interesting about it is this hit count. Despite the fact that it's Buster, it has an 8-hit 8-hit AoE count. So, like, 24 hits if you're running certain types of servants that give you a little bit of Stargen, you can get some pretty neat Stargen out of it. Like, for example, Shakespeare, or Matahari, or I guess even Merlin, because he has a Stargen buff on his second skill. So you got some pretty cool stuff going on with that, but that's specifically in particular teams. Another thing that isn't quite immediately apparent is this multiplier is higher than usual. So the reason why she has this higher multiplier is... Hold on a second. So what it is... so at NP1 it's normal, but at NP5 it's actually higher than usual. It's usually 400 to 600% for an NP upgrade, but it's 400 to 700%. So if you have her NP5, she hits pretty good. But the reason why they did that is because she's actually got a really low attack stat. This is the lowest 4-star attack stat you'll see. So it's... yeah. So her card damage is garbo. But yeah, she has an NP upgrade to make up for it, and she gets decent NP spam out of it. But yeah, personally I would put her in B+. She is perfectly usable at this point in time. She doesn't, like, I mean, she's got a lot of pretty alright things. She's not like a miracle worker of any sort. But yeah, like if you need to do AoE NP damage, she's got a battery, she's got NP game for the team. She'll get some stuff done. But anyways, on to our next one. We've got Caster Liz. So we have Plushie over here in our chat today. And I know he has... I'm not sure. I think he thinks less of her than I do. But, like, I mean, to be fair, he's probably used her a bit more than I have. But yeah. So she has actually surprisingly good NP game. She's got an art stack, which is always nice. And then 1.6%, that's actually a little bit above average for an art stack. And then she also has an arts passive, which increases it even more. But what is kind of really interesting here is her extra attack has one more hit than usual. Because, like, she has day 1 hit counts, but she has +1 hit count. And what that means is her extra attack is actually, like, one of the best extra attacks in the game for NP game. You do think very little of her? Well, I guess I was right on the money. But yeah, like, it's not quite up there on par with Stheno, but it's actually really close to it. I noticed that the other day when I was using her in a solo. Yeah, anyways. She's gotten multiple buffs, which is pretty rare for a welfare, but it's kind of a running theme with some Liz's, as we'll see. So first skill, yeah, there's a lot to this first skill. It was so simple before, but now it is so much stuff going on it. They added like 4 effects to it. So basically, get stars every turn for 3 turns. 20 stars on a 5-turn cooldown is really good, by the way. In a vacuum. She also removes 1 buff from all enemies. It would be cool to have full buff removal, but considering how many things are on this, yeah, I think it's fair. And it's also in line with what her Lancer gets. So if she removes the buff, she basically reduces their crit rate by 10%, which is... it's okay. It would be cool if it was a higher crit chance, because, like, you'll use her against assassins who have 30% crit chance at base. So once again, scaling smaller because they're trying to heap a bunch on top of it. But then you've also got the NP charge for each one of those that is applied. And it is 500% chance to apply, so as long as you remove a buff and it doesn't have debuff immune, then yeah, you're going to get the 20% charge. So you can get up to 60% charge, which is really good. That's really nice. Okay, and she also has the heal, which is, it's nice. Like, not much to be said there. But here's the problem. Her NP damage is not that great. It relies on this mana burst that we just talked about earlier. It's slightly worse because it's 45% instead of 50%. Granted, she does have a higher attack stat, but I mean, yeah. And then she also applies burn for 10 turns, which, I mean, I guess if you're doing esports for Honey Lake, I guess there's that, but anyways. And then we have this skill, which is an almost objectively better version of Shuten's third skill. I'm kind of annoyed at that. 7-turn cooldown, 30% battery, and then 5-turn guts, and 8 stars. It's pretty standard. But yeah, it's good. If it was on a shorter cooldown, you could use her for 3-turning with Vich Oberon, but you gotta use K-Scope because of it. 8 stars, it doesn't seem like much, but considering how she has, like, 20 stars per turn on her first skill, like, between those two, you're probably gonna crit. Which is great for NP game. Because she's not much of a card damage person, she's more of a crit to get NP gain, and, like, help the team get NP gain. She also increases burn damage, which is super useful because that means she goes from 300 damage to 600 damage per turn. Absolutely insane. And, like, burn already isn't really that great, but yeah. She's got Arts Up, that's nice. It helps her NP gain on her Arts deck. And then Debuff Success, which, I mean, like, the only debuffs that aren't going to be dot debuffs are, like, already guaranteed, basically. And then she has a Defense Ignoring NP, and she applies Curse. Yeah, they didn't want to give her Curse Amp. They gave her Burn Amp instead. Yeah, I want to shoot and buff, especially after Tez. Yeah. And then Lancer, So, like, she's usable as a caster, but her NP damage is very meh. But she can like throw out a bunch of NPs really often. She's pretty nice for teams. So I'll go with B. I feel like Saber Lily is a little bit more competent. She does some of the same things, but actually, I don't know. She's got some nice utility on her first skill. Like, I like the buff removal. She needs to choose one way to go. I don't know, these days it's really easy to get larger damage out of people. She just really needs the NP upgrade. I think I'll put her on par with Saber Lily. Oh boy, and then we've got Nobu. Oh boy. So Nobu has seen a buff. You can get all her coins for free now, because she's in the Evocation shop, which, for those who don't know, we're getting a shop sometime. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if we get it next week. But we get a shop that lets you get old welfares, and they've been adding them over the time. So you log in, you get these leaves that you could spend to get copies of the welfare and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, she's got surprisingly good hit counts, almost. She has possibly, I think it's actually the worst quick card in the game. It's 0.83%, and you divide that in 3 for, like, the arts equivalent. And yeah, you get, like 0.2% arts card. That would be atrocious. But her arts cards are okay. Like, they're pretty standard. Like, it's about 1.7%, 1.72%. And then she's got pretty good hit counts on her busters, for whatever that's worth. So if you got some star gen on her, she actually makes a little bit of stars. And then we've got, this is actually a pretty nice skill. Like, the 30% NP gain for the team was already pretty nice, because 30% is where you start seeing larger dividends over the 20%, because you can actually get 4% per hit you take instead of 3.5%. But yeah, team gets Buster and NP damage as well for 3 turns. Small numbers, but like it's multiplicative, so you're actually getting some pretty nice NP ampage, which is okay for her, for reasons you'll soon see. But if you're running her with other DPS, then it actually is pretty nice. We got this skill, which it's anti-divine for 1 turn. It's half of Scath's 3rd skill, I guess. And I mean, to be fair, most of the time Scath's 3rd skill is just this. Although you can force some dead now. But unlike Scath, she doesn't really do a lot of damage in general. And then she has basically self-mod. Star Absorb for 3 turns, crit for 3 turns, and then 5-turn cooldown. It's a nice skill. They usually throw other things on top of skills like that these days, but, like, hey, it's alright crit damage. And she's also got a crit passive for what that's worth. And she has anti-rider. And that's actually really nice, because she does bonus damage to riding enemies. So, enemies that have the riding trait. So, like, most Sabers and, yeah, and most riders as well. There are actually some riders that don't have the riding trait for some reason. Pirates don't get to know how to ride cars and stuff, of course. But yeah, it's an okay niche. It's not always gonna be there, but there are a good amount of riding enemies. But here's the problem: her NP damage, even like if you have all the niches aligned, and like there are a decent few divine riding servants, even then it's kind of mid damage. So really, I these days I kind of want to put her in B. Before she was in C, but like her first skill is a really nice glow up for her. It doesn't quite fix her, I would say. But yeah. Speaking of someone who could use a glow up, next up we got Santa Alter. Oh boy. So this is Saber Alter, but she it's basically the same stuff, except they swapped out a couple things. So she has about the same gain. She's got pretty decent gain. It's standard for the Buster Arts deck. And she has the absorb because she's a rider, so that's always a nice thing. That's always a plus. Her first skill is 3 turns of Sergeant up. She has day 1 hit counts, by the way. And it's only 30% Sergeant. 50% is where you want to be if you want to actually see something. But hey, at least the heal's higher than average, 3,500. Usually you see 3,000 out of 5-turn cooldown, but this is 3,500. Yeah. And she has base instinct. Like, it took them a while to buff this on her Saber version. And even after that, Saber version was just, like, she's still not that great. So, yeah. I mean, I guess the good thing is the 15 stars are enough to make her crit, even though, because, like, Sabers don't. Yeah, I'm being really nice here. And then she's got 45% Buster for 1 turn. Like, she has so little anything. I'm gonna be real, this is 1 skill. Like, these 3 together are 1 skill in the year of our Lord 2023. I think she has higher debuff resist than usual for riders, but 20%, like, it's not like I'll bring her just because of that. And she has anti-saber, whatever. And she has NP refund. The good thing, though, is she does have higher scaling on her NP, as prior stated, because I already knew. and I'm an expert on these things, it usually scales from 400% to 600% on an upgrade. So it's unupgraded, and it's got a higher percentage than an upgrade. So her NP damage is pretty good, but that's basically it. Like, she's got like a little NP charge on her NP, so I guess she can use her NP a second time, maybe. But like, yep. Oop, accidentally clicked on the stream. So, yeah, I can't, like, she's a wave clear. I feel like she's one of the worst welfares we have right now, because, like, we have other... No, I'm putting her in D, yeah. I forgot. We have Habitrot. Like, if you want wave clear that has good damage, just Habitrot. Habitrot is just going to demolish her on that. She even has a better base refund, and you can do something with it. Like, it's just... She is so not good these days. But, as far as good these days goes, we do have Shiki, who is, even today, a pretty solid assassin. So she's single target arts. Her gains are pretty standard. It's a quick arts deck. She's got a 4-hit quick, so she makes a little bit of stars. Not to mention Habitrot can die after that. Yeah, dude. Habitrot, I got a lot to say about her. Don't skip ahead in the video. No, sit here and make AdSense look good, please. So, first skill, and it's a mana burst, but it's got Pierce Invuln on it, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're gonna give us all the Christmas welfares on Christmas. That would make a lot of sense, because we've got several of them. What video? This is a stream? What do you mean, stream? What? Who are you people? Why are there people talking on the bottom right? What? So, insta-kill resistance, who cares? She has instant kill on her NP, but, like, it's not reliable, so who cares? But, yeah, it's better than the average mana burst, so it's nice. Pierce Invuln is always really nice to have. And then this is a pretty standard evade. 1 turn, 6 turn cooldown. 5 turn cooldown is always a cool thing to see, but 6 turn is standard. And then we've got 40% crit for 3 turns. You're in my head. Well, that explains a lot. But, yeah, a little bit of crit damage, that doesn't hurt. I mean, it hurts the enemy. Speaking of things hurting, she damages herself for 1,000 on this skill, but she gets 30% charge. So I feel like this could have been a 5-turn cooldown. Looking at the other, the Saber Shiki, then they could have gone with a 4-turn cooldown, which would have been really cool. But, it's alright. I feel like a 30% battery these days could just sit at that. Yeah, I mean, like, look at Saber Liz. Saber Liz has a... Not Saber Liz. Oh, definitely not Saber Liz. Rider Liz. She has a 30% battery on a 4-turn cooldown with a big big star bomb, dude. Granted, it might be a 5-turn cooldown, but yeah. But yeah, she's got Stargin up, as usual. And so she gets 50% crit for 3 turns. She doesn't have anything else to boost her damage beyond the arts. And like, yeah. But yeah, it's good. And she has Ignore defense on her NP. Hold on a second. Oh, I actually didn't know that. But yeah, the defense debuff on her NP actually scales with her NP level, so it's always at 20%. That's kind of nice. I definitely prefer that over the overcharge being 10 to 20%. And then she has instant kill. Who cares? But yeah, as this wiki says, and I totally knew this, it always works against 50% or higher, because that does boost it to 200% chance, like with her first skill. Granted, it's only one target. I mean, obviously. But, hey, like, if they got a 50% chance of dying, then they have a 100% chance of dying. So she's a really good... she's a servant that's aged fairly well, I suppose. Like, there's... she doesn't have, like... I wouldn't say she has a ton of competition. There's a lot of stinkers in the assassin class. So I definitely say A+. Especially since arts is really good these days. Speaking of aging... Hello. Hello, Irisviel. So Irisviel is interesting. She has an arts deck. Her gain is not that great. It's, I'd say, a little, definitely below average. I don't think it's that much of a deal breaker, though, because she does have an arts deck, and she has an NP gain buff. So, starting right off, we got a terrible skill. She increases her own healing power for one turn by 50%. So, every bit of healing she does for that turn, she gets 50% more on it. So, if she uses her NP, then it does 50% more healing to everyone. But it's on a 7-turn cooldown. This is like a 3-turn cooldown skill. So I could see them putting like a team battery, maybe some arts buff on it. Something like that. It definitely is going to get some love as soon as she gets returned. Because, like, aside from that, her other skills are okay. Like, this is a nice skill. Self-survival. Like, she's a support, and a lot of supports don't have good self-survival. So if you want to use her for a longer-term fight, she's going to live a long time. Also, the NP gain buff, that pushes her NP gain to be actually a little above average for an arts deck. And we got targetable 3k heal. It's literally what I was just talking about. It's worse than Santa Alters, I suppose, but it's not that bad. Like, it's just it could use another effect. Again, one of those skills that could definitely be a lower cooldown. And then we've got an NP that is not as good these days because we have Asclepius, but I think the thing that sells this over Asclepius's NP is the fact that she gets guts too. Yeah, Asclepius does a lot of the same things as her, but he's less focused on keeping everyone alive. He's more so focused on keeping other people alive. So sometimes there's these fights where you want her to stay alive so she can keep everyone alive for a while. Like, for example, a certain quest over in Nerofest, which you guys will probably be seeing here soon if you're an NA player. So, yeah, the overcharge is the guts. 1000 HP is pretty sad for the guts, but it kind of depends on the situation. So 3k heal for the entire team, that goes up to 4.5k with her first skill active. So that means she can heal one target for 9,000 in one turn, which is that's pretty nice. Who cares about her pin? Why am I looking at that? She's not doing damage. So I would say that she is C tier. I don't think she's as outright bad as Santa Alter, because she does have these little situations where you can use her. Thank you, Vikar and Yanka, for the follow. She has these very specific situations that she is just really good in, because, like, sometimes the supports are taking a lot of damage too, and everyone, like, she gives everyone hard survival, and then she has her own additional hard survival on top of it. So it can come in clutch sometimes, and you can make her work. Okay, so Kintoki Rider. I think some people might leave angry comments about this one. So Kintoki Rider is really good. Don't get me wrong. But I think that he is horribly overrated. So, anyways, his NP gain is really good, by the way. So, 4-hit quick, he has 1.15%, so that's like a 4.6% quick card. That's really good. Then he has a good arts card as well, and then 2 buster cards, so yeah. Everything, all of his gains are just fantastic. And then he's got a pretty good skill here. This skill, less so damage-wise is it incredible, and more so it's the fact that it affects his NP gain the way it is. So those 4.6 cards, hold on, times 1.3, they go up to 6% quick cards, which is incredible because that's the equivalent of a 2% arts card, which is a really good arts card. And then, like, he makes some stars, but, and then he is a rider, so he gets those stars pretty easily. He has a 50% battery, which these days would have another effect, but it's okay. Like, 50% batteries are never bad. It's just, like, you'd want to see more on it than that. And speaking of 3k heal on a 5-turn cooldown, we've got a 3k heal on a 5-turn cooldown, and then offensive debuff resist, which actually does come up sometimes. There's a good amount of fights that have offensive debuffs come into play, and then you're not getting debuffs when that happens. He has anti-Berserker. And I usually wouldn't use him against a Berserker, because, like, he has such non-existent survival, but it's still... if you just want to nuke a Berserker really fast, like, he's got the 50% battery, he can just pop out some damage real good, real fast. Now, his overcharge is... so, his NP, it's got one effect, but it scales really weird. So, these days, you would see 10 to 30%, but instead it's 10 to 90% quick for 1 turn. So... I don't know why they went that far. Like, that's a lot of quick. I wish they would do that more often. I think the only other time they did that was, I think Bathory also has that. Maybe not to that. I think it scales up to 70% for Bathory. But still, it's a lot of quick, and that affects his NP gain, so you can get a nice loop out of his quick cards. So, yeah, he's really good. That's why I got an A+++ tier. Because I think he is really good. I think, like, everything he does is really good. But we also have to remember, he's harder to support. You have to put a lot more focus on supporting him, which, I mean, like, defensively, you have to support him a lot. Because he's harder to keep alive. Because, like, for example, Shiki is not as hard to keep alive because she's got a nice evade. There are some cats fighting out in front of my house. Oh dear. So, also, he's quick. So, people, it's kind of an interesting thing that I've seen happen. The same people that say that servants are just flat out bad because they are quick servants are also the same people that say that Kintoki has always been S tier, which is, like, why? Like, newer quick servants are generally better than Kintoki, like, gains-wise. Like, for example, Saber Medusa has some overlap with him, though she is a Saber, not a... she's a Saber 5-star, so yeah, to be fair. But, like, she performs so much better. But then also people kind of give her crap for being quick. So, yeah. Yeah, the cats are Kintoki fans. I don't blame them. Like, Kintoki is really cool. But yeah. I think he's really good, and he doesn't need a lot of support. But if you're in more offensively geared to fight, he can really suffer. So, speaking of suffering, we got Assassin Scathach. Her gains, like, her arts card is okay. She's got a quick deck, and they're, like, 2.1% quick cards, so that's meh. And the hit counts are okay, but you'll soon see a problem with the hit counts. So, they recently buffed the skill, because they put her in the evocation shop, which I'm really glad that they buffed her. I don't think she's amazing yet, but this is such a huge step in the right direction. So, taunt for 1 turn, that's pretty cool. Crit damage for 1 turn. Why? Okay, 50% for 1 turn. Like, if it's a 1-turn crit, you usually see 100%. Why is it only 50%? But they changed that. Something people don't always mention is the crit damage got boosted to 3 turns, so it has better uptime now. On top of that, she also gets 50% more damage against divine enemies, so going off of what her Lancer version does. And then 30%... Oh, I gotta scroll so you guys can see it. 30% battery, so she's able to quick loop better now. She kind of had a rough time before, but now she can do it more reliably. She's got a 3k heal and 1 turn of damage cut. 6-turn cooldown. Another one of those that should have been a 3-turn effect. Like, if they're gonna do this, because, like, it can pair pretty well with her taunt. 1k damage cut is actually a bit better than you'd expect, especially since you'll use her against riders, and, well, riders, they do more damage to casters, and you're probably going to use caster supports like Scotty or Hans or whatever. So that gives you that option, and it helps her protect the team that way. But that should be a 5-turn cooldown also. 5-turn cooldown should have been here, it should have been here, and also should have been here. They're all 3 6-turn cooldowns. So this is basically the same thing that Shiki has, except it's slightly worse because it has 1 less effect, even though the other effect on Shiki's is mostly useless. And also this has a 1-turn more cooldown. Why? I don't know why it has 1 turn more of a cooldown. But hey, 50% quick for 1 turn, it's pretty nice. And this is what I was talking about with her hit counts. She has a 2% boost in her star gen. Usually they get around 10%. She got 2%. And her hit counts are okay at best already, so her star gen really isn't that good. 2%, dude. And then her NP is super vanilla. It's just chance to instant kill. I guess it's kind of funny because, like, her instant kill being low chance is actually a positive. So, because, like, if you're going to be using her for farming, that means she's a lot less likely to gut her NP gain. Yeah. So, she can still proc instant kill sometimes, but yeah. Yeah. Very boring NP, and it's only 5 hits, so it doesn't even make a ton of stars. Like, 15 hits, so you're going to see about 15 stars. But still, very meh. I would say she is C tier. Also, just to clarify, yeah, actually I will put them in order. I know Mist usually doesn't, usually he just puts them in tiers and just leaves it at that, but I think I'll actually try to order the tiers this time. Okay. But yeah, I think she's less usable than Irisviel, because Irisviel is a support, and, like, you gotta remember this. You might bring, like, 2 or 3 DPS, but everyone else is gonna be a support, so if you're only running 1 DPS, you're gonna be running 5 supports. So, she's immediately more viable because there's less supports, And, like, no one else does... Almost no one else does what she does. So if you need that one thing more, then, yeah, she can fill in that slot. But Scath, like, she's competing with some other people. Not that great. So, up next, Chloe. So I'm not a huge fan of this servant, but she actually does have some fun NP gain. So right off the bat, her NP gain, kinda nuts. Like 6 hit arts. Let me math this out real quick. So 6 times 0.38. I know almost what it is. It's 2.28% arts cards. That's huge. Quick cards are meh, but and then the Buster card, like, I mean, you're probably not going to want to take the Buster card most of the time, but still. Really good gains. She's got the same first skill that... she's got one of the same skills as Shiki's, except a little bit worse. So she's got defensibility. She can survive an NP without help. It's a little bit less crit, but unlike Shiki, even though she's going to be generating stars, she'll actually absorb them because she's an archer. So she's going to be a little better for that crit damage. Even have the same deck, but then we've got the Rainbow Mana Burst. I'd really like for them to buff this, and they actually buffed this quite recently for Emiya Alter. So yeah. It pushes her NP gain up really high. She easily loops on her own. Speaking of looping on her own, we've got this 50% battery. That's always really nice. And 100% star gen. So, 100% star gen means you're going to get like at least 1 star on an arts card. So, 6 stars per arts card, that's nuts. Like, so few people can do that. So, like, great hit counts, and then that works really well with it. And then 50% battery, as I already said, always great to have. They also buffed it, but it didn't do anything. Now you can use her with Ilia, and she can, like, help reduce RNG. But you're never gonna do that unless you really like them. And in which case, ew. And then Anti-Caster is pretty good. We haven't gotten her in the Mana Prison, not the Mana Prison. We haven't gotten her in the Evocation Shop yet, but yeah, once we do, then we can get coins. Otherwise, you need like Pawn 12 or something. Yeah. And then ignores evasion for 1 turn. It's always nice. And then reduces crit chance for 3 turns. Sabers usually have like between 15 and 20% crit rate, so 20%, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's gonna cover that aspect. It's gonna help protect the team. So unfortunately, not much on damage effects for her NP. It's like she does have this 35%, but I think they're gonna buff this sometime in the future. And that's, like, really the only thing she needs buffed. Also, okay, so, never mind. I was gonna say, yeah, she has some refund potential, but this is only, like, 2.28%. So, no. You want to see, like, around at least 4% on an Arts NP for it to be refundable. And even then, it's just like a certain amount of refund. This is going to get you like 30%. That's still pretty substantial. So, I gotta put her as the first S tier. Arts is so much better than Quick. She's got the 50% battery. It's a better skill. Like, her skill set is just so much better than Kintoki's for the most part. She spams so easy. She stays alive easier. Yeah, she's just got so much over Kintoki. And I know they're not in the same class, but, like she's the first one rated above him, so gotta justify it. And after that, we've got Brave Liz. His pretty yikes. Her NP gain's pretty standard. 1.65% arts cards, Buster Arts deck. She's got a pretty good court card, as far as hit counts goes, but like NP gain wise, it's meh. 2.2%. So, her skills are weird. She's got an Invuln skill. Invuln's always nice to have, it's better than Evade. But the other effect on it, even though 50% in PGen is really nice, it's only one turn. So, yeah, we're gonna be seeing another Liz skill that, like, is kind of hilarious compared to this. So stay tuned for that. Then the Buster, it's a mana burst. It's meh. 40%, so it's less than usual. It's a 5-turn cooldown, which is better than the first skill, but it's a 20% defense buff. So I want them to buff this skill in particular. I think her first skill is okay as is, but I want this to be... I want them to make this Buster buff 3 turns, make the defense buff 3 turns, and then they can throw a 30% battery on it. And I think the 30% battery benefits her a lot more than usual because of this skill. So this skill is infamous. So for a while it was use 100% NP charge and you drop the entire gauge 100%. What did I just say? I was like reading and talking at the same time. I think I said 100%. 100. Yeah. You get rid of 100% for one of 5 effects. So all of these effects are really good. One of them is Buster, 50% for the team. No, for herself for 3 turns. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Party Invuln, that's great. Party HP, it's 3k, it's alright. Party attack for 1 turn, 50%, that's good. 50 stars, that's good. But they're all 20% chances, and then, like, sometimes you don't want them in particular. And it's 100%. If it was easier to get her NP, like if she was an art servant and had good NP gain, then it wouldn't be as bad. But the good thing is they buffed it, but the problem is all they did was make it so you don't need as much charge. So it's a lot more usable now, but I still wouldn't use it. So the way I was looking at this skill, before they buffed it, the way I wanted them to buff it. So imagine it like this. So this skill is basically like a mystery box that you might buy at a restaurant. It could have macaroni and cheese, it could have a pastry of some sort, it could have something you just don't like, it could be something you're allergic to. So it's pretty expensive. Like, it costs $10 and you don't know what it is, so yeah, that sucks. But the ways you can make it more desirable, for one, you could bundle it with another thing. So you could add another effect to it. So you could get that one effect, and you also get this other thing that's random. So that's one way you can make that mystery box more viable, more desirable. Another thing is you could discount it a lot. That's what they ended up going with. But honestly, it should have been free if it's going to be 1 in 5 chance. You could also put more in it. You could make multiple things in it, like 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, I feel like they should have gone a little higher with this. Something I think would have been really cool, they also could have made it so instead of just costing 50%, it also like gives the team charge on top of that. You just want guaranteed effects on top of this. And like, I know we all play gacha games, but we also all hate RNG. So it's missed potential, I would say. she's got arts, passive arts, so that helps her NP gain a little bit. She has double class E, which I don't know what this is. I don't know what purpose it serves. I think it was something in the event, and that's it. You feel like they should let you choose how much NP you want to put in, more battery, more effects you get out? Yeah, and I guess the way they could do that is like that could be different sizes of a mystery box. Yeah, and like they can do that now. They did that with Cuckoo, where you can get different scaling on a skill. Yeah, they could have made an extra effect on it and made it like, okay, you can also sacrifice 50% charge to get one of these. So it could have been like, you get the team heal for sure, but you can also choose to get one of the other 4 randomly. Yeah. They just needed to make it either something guaranteed, or make it more worth it, or, yeah, whatever. And they buffed her NP really recently. It's V rank, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. It went from B, like BB, which is the theme playing right now. Unfortunately, this stream has been hacked. I mean, this video. So, it's kind of a meh buff. Like, it gives her a big boost in damage, which is really nice. And it ignores defense, but it's still, like, like the effect they went with on it, it's spread of fire. So, like, if you're doing burn setups, I guess that's kind of cool, but I wouldn't use it for burn setups. There's just not much options for burn setups. So, I think she gets way too much shit. I would say she's B+. Well, yeah, I'd say she's about on par with Caster, because you can make her work. People act like she's completely unworkable, but you can just pretend that her 3rd skill does not exist, and then she has 2 very meh skills. But both of these skills do something. Like, both of these skills have effects that are useful. Even if they're bad uptime and everything, you can just ignore the 3rd skill, and then bam, that's it. So I think I'm going to have her in bottom of B+. I feel like she's more workable than Nobu at this point, because she at least has damage, and she has skills that have a good purpose. Yeah. Fucking... what was it? Paldea Gurus, I think? They put her below Saber, which is absolutely the stupidest shit. Like, holy shit, dude. She does damage. Like, come on. Come on. Yeah, this is a call-out video, I'll have you know. Anyways. Then, we got Starbucks over here. Jeanne d'Arc, Alter, Santa, Lily, Child, Person, Lancer. So, she's got a Buster Quick Deck, and usually Buster Quick Decks, they're actually pretty good for gains, usually. Her quick cards are meh. 2.16% quick cards, meh. But her arts card is pretty good. It's 2.16%. I do like Buster Quick Decks. It's probably my favorite deck. It's good for crit stuff, but that's not quite what she's here for. So she has the same skill that Saber Alter has. Saber Alter Santa Rider. But the good thing is she can actually do something with it, because she doesn't have day 1 shit counts. So she gets a bit more star gen, because she has 2 quick cards that have 3 hits instead of 1 quick card that has 2 hits. It's still pretty mid, but hey, you can use it on the teammate and get a little something out of it. She's got a very vanilla battery. It's 20%, but hey, at least it's on a 5-turn cooldown. It's reasonable. And then the debuff resist, I feel, is kind of undervalued. Because, like, 50% debuff resist. Like, she has 71% debuff resist. If you've done one of the, like, they've done a lot of challenge quests with her. that is really annoying to play against. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's just like 30% would have been cooler because Vetch, you know, yeah. And then she's got this skill, which, it's actually a slightly better version of Jalter's because it has a higher scaling on the damage buff, but I think it also has a higher scaling on the HP debuff. So, you give and you get. But yeah, that's because she has a lot lower of attack stat, just not as much damage in general. It's a pretty good skill. 6-turn cooldown, invuln. People give this type of thing shit because no one likes seeing main damage buffs on the main survival. But the thing about this, the thing that people keep forgetting about that, when do you use a damage buff and when do you use your survival? So if you're up against a break bar, you use the damage buff to break the bar. And as we all know, a lot of the time, there's these break bar gimmicks that increase their damage or just give them their NP, which means you'll need your invuln. So it's not as much of a problem as people act. But yeah, it is annoying. I understand that. I would have preferred 3 turns. It's just like, the 2 effects usually sync up pretty well. If you don't kill, however, then, yeah. It just means you have to think more about it. Anti-Avenger, who cares? Like, AoE Avenger fight? Yeah, cool, I guess she's useful in Lost Belt 6? Like, if you're farming there? You can't even get her coins yet, so definitely not. She reduces... This is such a weird NP. Like, the effects on it are good, it's just, like, it's so weird. Like, debuff resist 10%. You guys might realize something, but... she has 1 debuff. Like, Tristan and Fergus have at least 1 other debuff, even though they have debuff resistance debuffs on their NP. Why does she have this? Like, it doesn't even help her reduce their debuff resistance on the next NP, because it's gone already. So, I mean, if it was like 50%, that'd be cool. Because I like the idea of this being like the NP you use to overcharge other people. Because this heal rate lasts... Oh, whoa. This heal rate lasts long enough that it will affect HP regen. So 20%, like if you're using Merlin's NP or whatever, then you get a little bit more heal out of it. So that's alright. I would have preferred... If it's 20% though, I would have preferred 3 turns. Same thing with the attack. Like, that should also be 3 turns. All of these should be 3-turn effects, because they don't scale high enough for it to be a 1-turn effect. You've given units so many chances when other people just shit on them. Yeah, I like trying to look for the best thing in the servant. I like trying to give... Because, like, there's a time and place for all sorts of things. I know, I'm Professor Oak over here. I'm usually pretty good at finding ways to use bad things. I mean, I've used Phantom in like 5 different videos, so even though he is shit, like, he has something. Yeah, I'm a professor. Oh, jeez. Now, all I got is an associate's, dude. It's not even relevant. Not even a relevant topic. Anyways. Yeah, 10% attack before the NP would have been pretty cool. I playtest the most out of all the FGO tubers. Well, you heard it here, guys. I am being endorsed by Plushie, the Plushie mistress of FGO renown. Thank you, everyone. I greatly appreciate all the happy things to say. Anyways, go over here. I'd say she is more usable than Saber Lily. She's definitely more usable than the other 2. Yeah. I don't think she's top tier. I don't think she's amazing, but she is definitely workable. She's a lot more workable than people would like to act. Speaking of workable, man, I've got all these transitions I'm working with. Speaking of X thing, because like we keep going back and forth between good thing and bad thing. It's so easy. So speaking of workable, Chacha is a servant. She is an AoE berserker with she has really good hit counts. That is a nice thing. She's got the Nobu thing going on where she has high hit counts on buster cards. A fun fact, if you use her buster card with an art starting bonus, it's always going to generate at least 5% charge. Chacha goes smooth. Yeah. Also, hello, Shoot the Sushi. I saw you over on... I think you followed... Was it Danny last night or recently? I remember watching when you first showed up. But yeah, welcome over here. But yeah, if you're using a Mighty Chain, her Buster card is actually kind of nuts. If her Buster card crits, you get 10% out of it. You get 10% charge out of a Buster crit. Thank you for the follow as well. Like, the same thing goes on with Summer Kyohime, and I don't think it's enough to, like, sell them as high tier or anything, but they're still pretty good. Like, it's kind of funny to notice. But yeah, Buster deck, she's got, this is an okay skill. If she had, like, an evade or something, or a taunt, if she had a taunt evade skill like Finn, this would be a really good skill. I would really like that. Because, like, Berserkers, they get 5% per defensive hit, so this goes up to a whopping 7.5% per hit. You get a ton of charge out of it being hit, but the thing is, she's a Berserker, so she dies really easy. It's not the same thing as with Nobukatsu. So you gotta invest more in keeping her alive, because, as we'll see, she has no survival. But yeah, NP regen, that's cool. If you're farming, you got 20% on turn 3, which is meh. And then, this is kind of a funny skill. Like, it's almost a pretty good skill, because 3-turn 50% star absorb down. Like, if it was 100% star absorb down, then that would actually make a difference. But you see, if you reduce a rider's star absorb by 50%, they have Saber absorb, which is still 10 times that of a Berserker, because she has 10 absorb. So, cool, you reduce it by 50 absorb, now they only have 5 times what she has, instead of 10 times. But yeah, Star's Berserker, that's always pretty cool. She's a Berserker, she just needs more Star Gen for this to be worth it. And this is kind of a neat skill. It doesn't fit her because, like, for it to, like, peak, she has to live 5 turns, and she's probably not gonna live 5 turns. But yeah, 10 to 50% defense down. It's a shame that it's so low at the start, but like 50% defense down is pretty nice. 5-turn cooldown. I feel like this should be AoE though. Like if she's gonna be AoE, like make the skills AoE at least. The 3% Buster is not that much, not that good. So as you can see, one of her biggest problems is she just doesn't have damage. 10% on turn 1, and then 3% there. And like, she's a Berserker, so the pen's not that great. She does have crit rate down. So 20% crit rate down, that is going to make most things not crit, which makes her third append even worse. As if it was going to be useful at all. I mean, I guess you use Berserkers against rulers, but still. Then Burn. I mean, it's more out of place than Elizabeth's, because Elizabeth does slightly more. She does 600 per turn instead of 500. But yeah, it's... Her NP is meh. Wait. Noble Phantasm type. Fortress. Is it supposed to say anti-fortress, or is it just fortress? Does she just... Is she just a castle? I've never... I think that's probably a typo. But yeah, like, you can make her work some, like, pretty cool damage with, like, Gong, because he can actually take advantage of her NP gain from being attacked, because he can taunt her. But for you to do that, you also have to use some survival on her. And then you're also using one of your means of survival to make her take damage and get NP. So, I'd say, just because she's a Berserker and there are supports that are very easily accessible that benefit more so from Berserkers, I'll put her there. Because she does have better skills than Saber Alter for the most part. Because, like, I definitely take 10 stars per turn for 3 turns over 15 stars on 1 turn. Yeah. Like, she has better potential, I'd say. Now, BB. BB is an interesting one. Hey, don't make things weird, guys. Don't make things weird. So, BB, she's got good gains. She's got a 1.83% arts cards. That's already really nice. Then her quick cards, 4 hit, 2.44%. Sorry, that's all right, and that's pretty good for Stargen. 4 hit extra is kind of weird, but it's not that bad of a thing, I guess. And she's very utility-based, but she has became less utility-based over the years. So, talking about all these 3k heals, guys, you're gonna see a lot of 3k heals along this, yeah, because they just love giving 3k heals on these welfares. So, targetable 3k health, 4-turn cooldown. It also removes all of their debuffs and gives them 1 debuff immune. This is a great esports skill. This is a great skill in general. It's targetable disengage, but it's better and lower cooldown. This is just a great skill. And then we've got 100% chance to stun on this skill, and then removes all evasion or invuln buffs. So it's almost pierce invuln for 1 turn, but it's also a single target stun. And it's a 100% chance. And as you can see here, 10% debuff success up. So 110% chance. So low levels of magic resist do nothing against her. So that's really nice. And then we got self-mod, which is always a really nice skill. But they buffed it recently. And by recently, I mean last year. See, my sense of time is horribly skewed. Oh my god, my brother just sent me that Gargura clip of a seaman enemy.
I see an enemy. See it? Uh-oh.
Oh my god. He's not even a VTuber watcher. What is he doing? Anyways, 50% crit for 3 turns, 3 turns of absorb, and then she got something that touches her NP. It also touches her NP gain. Yeah, we're gonna gloss over what I just said. I just felt like saying it. 1.3 times 1.83. And you got a 2.3% arts card. That's better than Chloe's arts card at base. Base. And then she also gives the team 10% more charge with every extra attack, which is a pretty cool flavor thing. Usually you'd want to go with like a team arts chain, but we'll see in a second why it's not too bad. Oh, right, and she also has her own arts passive, so she has 40% arts. Don't think much of it on the tier list. Think much of what? She does bonus damage to alter egos. I mean, I guess she's neutral on them, but like everyone is neutral on them. Nah. Now her NP is really good. Like it's got a really rare effect where it gives the entire team 20% charge, and then 10% debuff resist down. So 10% debuff resist down, that helps get rid of the rest of the RNG on this skill landing, the 100% stun resist, stun chance. So you can have 120% chance of stunning, which is really nice. And then 20%, okay, so this is the thing that some people give crap about on her third skill, because like in an arts team, you're probably going to try to take other people's cards. So she loops pretty good. So look at this in your brain. So let's say you use Castoria's bust on her. She's got a Brave Chain. So she's got NP Quick Art. And then you have her NP Quick Art. She gives the team 20% from her NP, and then 10% from her extra. So she gives the team 30% charge for doing a Brave Chain, which is better for her damage in general. That is really cool. I think that's really cool. I want to level her just because of that. But the problem is her damage isn't really that great. And she's not a good class. So I would put her below Shiki. I think she has a lot of really cool utility. I think she's a really good team servant. But like she lacks some basic things. Like she could use some more damage on her NP, and she could use some sort of hard survival. But she's a team servant, yeah. She's more of an engine. I think I get what you mean by that. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, and yeah, if you're up against a bar, it's going to be really easy to loop that way. Yeah, that's... Yeah. So I think she's a really solid one. So, ironically, right after a soccer face, we're going over to... hold on a second. Do I have... Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess they don't count Bunyan as that, so we're not going to go over Bunyan. Don't really have to say anything there anyways. So this is Ishtar. So right after... well, I would put Bunyan in, like, B+. So, anyways. Right after a Sakura face, we've got a Rin face. So her arts cards are pretty good. We actually mentioned that earlier on stream. Her quick cards are ass. So, but her Buster card, she almost has the same thing that Scathach has going on, where her Buster card is better than her quick card. It actually might be that case. Either way, you'd prefer to use your arts cards over those. So she doesn't make much stars on them because they're 2 hits. And yeah, not much gain either. Her first skill is kind of a cool esports skill. I've seen a lot of people keep an extra copy of her for esports because team NP gain, team quick, team buster. This is an objectively better version of Saber Lily's skill, which is just 20% NP gain. So, like, I said that skill was okay. This is a good skill. This is definitely better than that. It doesn't help her quit cards that much, but hey, in her one Buster card, I don't know why it doesn't have an arts buff. Like, why isn't it quick arts instead of quick Buster? What's with the fixation on her Buster card? She only has one. And then she has Excel Turn, which is a pretty cool skill. Since she's a rider, she can boost her crit, and she can get herself to crit, because her NP makes some stars, and then she can use the skill, 50% crit for 1 turn, she's got the Absorb, and then also the evasion stays forever, so if you're working with taunts, it has some really cool stuff. And something I think is pretty cool on top of that is it gels with this skill, which is another 1-turn invuln, so you can actually have basically the downgraded version of PFA. Unfortunately, you can't stack invuln on top of it. But yeah, you get 50% more crit, and then Stargen, like, who cares about the Stargen? I guess you get more out of the Buster card, but you're not going to get much out of the Quick card. Better NP generation, you get debuff resist, and she already has, like, 22.5% there, so she's probably not going to get debuffed that turn. Unlike Kiara, for some reason, Kiara's debuff resist skill, like, never does anything. And then heal rate, which she doesn't have her own heal, but, like, hey, if you're using someone else's heal, yeah, it's a pretty cool skill. And it also debuffs you, and you get a stun next turn, but this is such an easy skill to work around these days. You can either bring a debuff clear for the turn that you use the skill, a debuff clear for the turn after you use the skill, or you can use some sort of debuff immune, and you had 2 opportunities to get that command code that prevents stuns, and one of them is in the Rare Prism shop, so you can get it at any point in time now. So, yeah, it's a pretty nice skill. 6 turn cooldown, unfortunately, but hey, that comboed with her second skill is really cool. Then she's got a passive crit, so even more crit damage. She's got some pretty decent critage. It's just her star gen is only so much. But she has a 4-hit quick NP. It has 20% quick on it, but that's basically it. Almost like Bob's first skill. I know what you're saying with that, but like, I don't know, man. Bob's first skill is so good. Like, and that's one skill. But yeah, 20%. Yeah, for YouTube viewers, Bob, that's referring to Bob on She, Bob on C, Fairy Knight Tristan, Tamlin Tristan, whatever. But yeah, it's a little boost in NP gain and damage for your NP, and it affects the rest of the chain. But like your quick cards are shite too. She can do Scotty looping. I think it's kind of tight, but she can. So I think she's a completely okay servant. I'd say she's the first A here. I think she's more workable than B+ tier, because B+ tier is stuff that you might like. It's not that great, but it can work. Whereas A is stuff that doesn't really need a lot of help to work, and then A+ is just like doing really well, although they might have gaps in other ways. And S tier is just like completely self-sufficient. It's just like anything you support there is the cherry on top, basically. And now we have Mecha Eli. I like the silver one more, but I think they only listed one, which is, man, I can't do the bit where I take one of them out of the, like, I take one of them out of the tier with the other, like, put one in B and the other one in D. Anyways, so she has a Buster deck, and as is the case with some Buster decks, she has really good gains on her other cards. Like, she has a really good arts card. I didn't notice this before, but yeah, 2.7% arts card, and then she has a 3.6% quick card. Those are both good cards. I wouldn't be surprised if she could do some infinite looping with NP quick art. That might be some idea for a plushie on a video. 50% death rate. Yeah, alter egos usually have higher death rates than other classes. And conversely, moon cancers, so BB has a very low one. That's only if you actually have to deal with that, though. Because, like, if you're up against foreigners, I can't think of a foreigner that has instant death. Although there are assassins that have instant death, and you might use her against an assassin. So for a skill, another innocent monster skill, this is a pretty good skill. Like, there's no downsides to it. It's kind of hilarious that there's skills like Phantoms for a skill, which is 8 stars per turn, and a defense debuff. when she gets the same thing, but it's 10 stars per turn and 30% defense buff. Man, they really need to buff the other innocent monsters. Oh wait, no, I think it's just Phantom now that has that. I can't think of any other that has it. I think Mephistopheles was the only other one that hadn't gotten buffed, but they buffed that last year. Anderson got buffed, yeah. Innocent Monster is generally a pretty good skill. Stars per turn is always a really nice effect. It helps everyone make more NP charge. You stack it on top of 20-30, and then you get a decent amount of critage. Then 30% defense, that's when defense buffs start mattering. Because, like, 20% is okay. You want to combo 20% with something else, but 30%, you're taking, like, 2/3 the damage now, basically. This skill, this is a pretty meh skill at base. It used to be 20% charge and some self-damage, so like a smaller scale version of Assassin Shiki's third skill, but they buffed it. Now it's a lot more reasonable. You also get 25 stars. So funny thing is, it's still an inferior version of Ryder Liz's third skill. So, yeah, 25 stars, that plus this, you're making 35 stars, you're probably going to make at the rest that you need on a prior turn. So, yeah, you're very likely to crit. And speaking of critting, you got a 60% crit buff for one turn, and 60% NP damage buff for one turn. 5-turn cooldown, but it's really good for boosting all your damage. It's really nice. But it removes all your defensive buffs, so that'll get rid of this buff, which sucks because you'll probably use this in preparation for using this crit buff. But now that we have this skill, it's not as offensive. You could just use this on one turn and get your NP, and use this on that same turn, and then pop this skill in, it's not a problem. And you could just go for crit stars on consecutive turns. So yeah, this skill buff is actually pretty, it's pretty great for that in particular, because she can get her stars for her crit turn without penalizing herself. But yeah, Anti-Lancer, I wouldn't use her against Lancers, because she's an alter ego. She has the buff removal, the defensive buff removal after damage, unfortunately. Not everyone gets to be a beast like Bima. But she also reduces their defense, also after damage, but that's good for card damage. Like, if you're doing an NP Buster chain, that's really nice. So, it's a pretty good NP, I'd say. And it's got high hit counts, so, like, if you put Stargen buffs on her, just saying. So, I'd say she's pretty good. It's just like Alter Ego isn't that great of a class. So I kind of want to put her in the same tier as B+, because, like, really her only problem is her class. She can have some issues with her third skill if you're not careful, and she doesn't have much survival beyond that, because she does have a 30% defense buff. Like, Ibuki has that. That's basically all she has for survival other than damage cut, and that's pretty nice for her. Hold on. What's her HP? 10.9, so 11.9k HP. That's okay. So that puts her up at about 5-star levels of HP, basically. So I'd put her above Saber Lily. I kind of want to put her on A tier, because, like, as far as a dedicated foreigner killer, yeah, she'll cover you for that. Her damage just has lower uptime, although she does ramp up a little bit. Hold on. Gotta manage my throat care here, because I've been talking for a couple hours. second. Okay. I just wanted to look and see the viewership here. We got 30 people.
I need a drink.
35. I guess I'll get another drink. Thank you for that. But yeah, next up is Altera. Unfortunately, Mark II is not here. Close tab's the right. That. So she's okay. Her gains are alright. She's got a quick art stack, and I'd say it's about normal gains here. Drinking on stream? Yeah, I'm drinking water on stream. It's highly recommended, especially if you're streaming for prolonged periods of time. Because I know I've already been doing this list for, like, well over an hour. So, Santa Altera got okay hit counts, okay gains. Her first skill is 20% battery, 5-turn cooldown, 30% Stargen. It's okay. And the fact that it's targetable does help it a bit. And, like, since it's not paired up with offensive effects, since those are separate, that means it's a lot more flexible and you're more likely to be able to use it on an ally. This skill, I feel like this is kind of a weak skill these days. Like, 3 turns of this would be really nice, but, like, 30% NP damage, 30% crit for 1 turn, same cooldown. Like, it's alright. If it was like an attack buff on one of these instead, that would be a lot cooler, because then you could actually get overlap on those, but there's no overlap there. Now this is a pretty cool skill. 3 turns of Pierce Invuln, and then 3 turns of 30% defense, and 3 turns of Absorb. The Absorb doesn't matter too much, I would say, because she's already an archer, but that helps a good bit. Then she also stuns herself after 3 turns, but this demerit is so much less of a problem than even it has the same positive ways of dealing with it as the Rider Ishtar one that I was talking about, but instead of that, you have 3 turns to deal with it. So you have 3 turns, you'll cycle through your entire deck, so all you need is 1 debuff removal code, and you're just gonna get rid of that. Because it's not like Tomoe's, where you can't remove it before it procs. I don't know why she in particular got that, but yeah. Anyways. So it's really easy to deal with. Just debuff remove sometime within 4 turns, and it's not an issue. So if you're using her with Castoria, which I don't know if you will be, because she is quick, but Castoria is really good, you're probably going to NP somewhere in those amount of turns. She's got hella passives here. She's got a passive crit, she's got a passive quick. Both of those are pretty high percentages, so that helps her NP damage a bit. And then debuff resist, alright, and Divinity, who cares? Anti-Foreigner, again, who cares? I'd rather just use the last one that we got over this one for Foreigner killing. And then her NP is pretty vanilla. It just makes stars, but it does have pretty nice hit counts. But, like, the only positive of that is, like, it makes more stars. It's a single target quick, not a single target arts. So, yeah, that helps her make use of her second skill. But it would be a lot cooler to see this skill, like, if it was, like, maybe NP damage was 1 time 3 turns and the crit was 3 time 3 turns, because that way you don't have to pick between one and the other, because, like, if you're waiting to make stars with the NP, then you're gonna have to choose between the two. But yeah, It's probably not as much of an issue now that we have changes to quick cards and mighty chains. So, Santa Altera, I feel like she probably goes in the same area as these ones. She doesn't have the NP upgrade that Lily does, so I feel like she might be... she has good damage. She has pretty good damage. It's not high uptime damage, but it is pretty decent. Most single target welfares are good or decent. Yeah, that's how it is, basically. But anyways, moving on, we got Sieg. Sieg, who is I'd say he's pretty good these days. He's okay. So his gains are about standard on his cards, because he's got a Buster Arts deck, and he's got, like, about 1.6% on it. So it's actually kind of lower than average, but then again, he also has the Arts passive. And he's got a mana quick card. Henshin, thank you for the follow. I'm assuming, unless that's Hindi, I don't know. Thank you for the follow, though. So, pretty okay cards, I'd say. His first skill is, it's a pretty cool skill. Self-NP for 3 turns, 30%, and then HP up. It's pretty vanilla, and, like, I would definitely prefer something like Nobu's first skill, because it's the same thing, like the 30% NP gain for the team, but it's got damage boosting on top of it. Like, even on him, I feel like that'd be more fitting, even though he has an Arts NP. And honestly, like, I rarely like the Buster Arts deck on an Arts Servant. So, yeah. His second skill, it's a Mana Burst. 36%, like, it's definitely better than most Mana Bursts, because most Mana Bursts are Buster. And Arts Mana Bursts will help you with NP gain, so that can help you a lot with looping. And it's a little bit of damage boost, so it's eh. At 36%, I could see us getting someone this year that has a 30% for 3 turns, so yeah. And then, Anti-Dragon damage, 100%. That's pretty cool. If you're using him with George, you can get some pretty cool damage ampage there. And you can use George with all sorts of servants. And then 30% battery, so yeah. That's pretty good. But it's only 1 turn. So, I feel like this is almost a 5-turn cooldown skill, because most of the time, it's just a battery, but hey, I mean, it's better than what Shiki got, because Shiki got a 6-turn cooldown and a demerit instead of a niche. So, he also has crit damage, which, I mean, he's a caster. He's got 50 absorb. He's going to be fighting with other casters for the stars, so the crit doesn't really matter. But he's got an Arts passive, which helps his passive NP gain as well. Anti-Saber, which is actually... that's actually pretty good. There's a lot of Saber dragons. So, like for example, all of the Sabers are dragon. Saber being character, not class. And then, really standard NP, but it is a good effect. 20% defense down for 3 turns before damage. So... the main takeaway with this NP is it loops really well. See, hits 9 times because 3 times against 3 enemies, and then 9 times that, yeah, it's like, hold on, let me math it out right quick. It's about, it's 7-point-something%. So, 0.78 times 9, yeah, 7%. 7.02%, then he's also got his own NP game buff, so he loops with Castoria super well. Like, so for farming purposes, he is very good. And then he also has a battery. Like, everything in his kit helps him loot better. He's got 30% MP gain. He's got an arts buff. He's got NP gauge. So, I'd say he's really solid. Unfortunately, I clicked the wrong thing once again. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have much beyond being able to loop. So if you can win fairly quickly, he's good. But for farming purposes, yeah, he's pretty good, I'd say. So I would put him... I'd put him below Writer Ishtar. He has a thing that he is really good at. He isn't that amazing outside of that, but it's a very widely applicable thing. So I think that's a pretty nice thing for him. Now, we got Ryouma, who we can't argue in favor of for farming for the most part. So, single target arts, he's got 2 buster cards, and I'm not a huge fan of that. His gains are okay for a buster arts deck. Nobu and B? Yeah. Yeah, Nobu's a lot more usable these days. I don't know, So the thing with a lot of welfares, most of these are like, they're already NP5, so they've already got they've got more use because they are going to hit harder than other 4-stars. So they already have a curve. Like, even Scath is going to be hitting a bit harder than a lot of free assassins. So, yeah, welfares have that curve added to them always. Anyways, so he's got okay cards. Not as good a cards as... See, I'm going to be a little bit biased against him, specifically because one of my favorite servants is basically a direct upgrade over him. Because Murasaki is really good, and he is not really good. Yeah, he's okay, I'd say. But, yeah, Arts Servant, he's like the first Charisma that we've seen, actually. So, Charisma is an okay skill in certain instances. If you're using him with more than one attacker, if he's not the only attacker, then it is a pretty good... It's okay. But it's only 17% attack. Like, if you want to give someone a team attack buff, make it at least 20%. Give another effect. And then he's got this skill, which is 10% charge for the team, and also 20% debuff resist. He gives everyone magic resist A. It's not enough to justify it. Like, I don't think it's enough to be impactful. Like, 20% passive, that's one thing, because that means you got a 1 in 5 chance of resisting debuffs all of the time. This is specifically if he uses it, and it's like 3 yeah. It's... You can literally quantify how many debuffs you should be getting because of this. And you can do it off the top of your head, it's that simple. And he's got 20% team arts, and that's 15 stars attached to it, so it can help you loop a turn. And it helps the team with their NP gain, even if they're not trying to do damage with it. But yeah, like if you're using more than one DPS and they're both arts, he does help a pretty good bit, like 17% attack and 20% arts. I'd still prefer a certain other one, but yeah, I guess if debuffs aren't as useful, because like maybe you're killing enemies too quickly, yeah. Wouldn't call Charisma and 10% gauge team support. Well, I mean, people do call Caesar support. And his NP is super vanilla. It's just deal damage to one enemy and chance to reduce their NP gauge, which, if you don't have tools to operate around it not working, then you've got a problem to deal with there. Because like Murasaki, for example, she has this exact same effect. It doesn't scale, but she also has NP seal in case it doesn't work. Like NP seal in case it doesn't work, and then skill seal in case it does work, but they quick charge anyways. Yeah, Ryder Murasaki. I'm trying not to talk too much about her because, like, I know her gameplay super well, and I know his gameplay is basically that, but weaker. Because they have so much overlap. And she also has a niche. And she ramps. He doesn't ramp. But his damage is okay. It's like, I think 45k. I'd rather use Ricky, honestly. So I would say he's above Nobu. Now, he's above Nobu, like he's arts. No, I can't put him below Saber Liz. That's rude. I would put him above Santa Altera. Because, like, he's arts, he's easy to support, it's just he doesn't really bring much anything to the table. His skills are super meh. But yeah. Then we got Summer Jerker. Summer Jalter. Jerker. Berserker. She's okay. Like, she's got some decent gains. Like, her quick card's okay, because it's like 2.04%, but she has a 2.04% arts card, which is, that's kind of standard, honestly, for a weaker Buster decks. It's nowhere near as bad as Lancelot, and that's for sure, but yeah, anyways. Okay, hit counts. It's pretty good hit counts, I'd say. This is a pretty cool skill. I like this skill a lot. It's one evade per turn for 3 turns. And then, like, NP generation as well. So that helps her defensively get more NP gain, because that means she goes up to, like, 7. Yeah, it goes to about 7% per attack taken. And it helps her deal with damage on multiple turns. Because, like with protection from arrows, like, one thing you can have happen with that, like, if you try to use it preemptively, there's a chance that if you're using it preemptively for an NP, like, next turn, then maybe you'll have an issue where you get attacked 3 times, then you have nothing to deal with the NP. But with this, you can divvy it up that way, but the cost is, like, okay, you might die between those hits, though. So it's a pretty cool skill. I think it works in an interesting way. So 20% self-attack for 3 turns is and then she also burns the enemy on every attack, which is okay. So this is just a worse charisma, basically. But you've also got, like, burn on it. So, like, okay, cool, if you're using Honey, like, then cool. But you can also just put command codes on you that burn. And then, 1 turn of Buster, 20%, and 20% charge, and then a demerit. So, I'm gonna be real, okay, no, hold on, we're not done yet. 12% Buster performance, that's pretty good. So that's 32% Buster and 20% attack. And she's got a little survival. And then her NP, she applies burn. That's actually a pretty high amount of burn. I didn't know how much she did that there. So she can get some decent burn damage, but she has no way of, like, increasing the amount that she does. It's almost like what Yang does, because Yang doesn't have any burn boosting, but, like, her NP level increases the amount of burn she does, so you can get some pretty big stuff. You'll take that form of evade over the one Tyra has. Yeah, because that's a 6-turn cooldown. So you're getting 3 evades out of this at best. I guess another negative of this is, like, it's completely possible you don't get anything out of the skill. Because if you don't, like, if you already have your NP when you have the arts card and you don't take the arts card or whatever, then, like, if you get a Buster Chain before the NP, then you don't get anything out of the NP rate. And then, like, if you don't get attacked in those 3 turns, that doesn't, yeah. So there's positives and negatives of this skill, but there are really cool things about it. that can happen. Yeah. So, she's workable. She has, like, the basics you want. She has her own damage boosting. She has her own battery, so she can get her NP easier. She has her own evasion. And she's a berserker, so it's pretty easy to work damage into her, like with Shengon and Vich now. That also helps, because she has 3 Buster cards. So I would put her... I'd put her above Sieg. Because, like, she's good for just 1 turn of damage. And she does have coins now, but, yeah. Just bit a tooth weird and my jaw hurt. Anyways, so next up, man, one of my favorite welfares, just because of the character, because Shuten is like one of my favorite characters. So, Arts deck, her NP gain is actually deceptively good. Like, it's a lot better than a lot of Arts decks, because like a lot of Arts decks, it's usually like 1.6% per Arts card, but with her, it's 1.84%. I think that's what it is. I didn't use a calculator. I almost did, but yeah, 1.84% per card, and then you also have plus 8%, so I think that's about a 2% Arts card. So she gets her NP pretty fast, but the reason why is because she doesn't have an Arts NP. So there's that. I like the skill. It's like possibly my favorite of her skills. NP seal for 1 turn, and then 50% crit rate down. That's actually going to keep an assassin from critting you. An assassin or a berserker, as you'll soon see. So then we got this skill, which, I mean, like, I guess it's a good boost of damage on, like, 1 turn, but it's 1 turn out of 6. And then Star Absorb. She doesn't really have much to go for with card damage. If she had a crit buff on top of this... See, what I wanted them to do, I wanted them to make these 2 effects 3 turns. Like, actually, make all 3 of these effects 3 turns if you want. And then put a 30% battery on top of it. And I would have been so happy with that. Even if it was 20%, that would have been good. But it's not what we got. She and Ketz did not get buffs. Although I feel Ketz didn't need the buff as much. And then it's a better charisma, 20% attack for the team, and then you also have a niche against demonic enemies, which do come up fairly often. And the good thing about her being a caster is there's a lot of demonic assassins. But also, as I just mentioned, there's also a lot of demonic berserkers. So, berserker killer. She also has anti-berserker because basically every Ryda character, like all of that small quadrant of characters are berserkers, because you got Berserker Raiko, Berserker Kintoki, you got Berserker Ibaraki. Shit, even Shuten went Berserker for an entire story chapter. Spoilers for people who haven't read Shimosa. But yeah, she's got some really good anti-Berserker damage. I actually made a video, which was one of my least popular videos in the last month. I don't think it even hit 1,000 views. Where I used her against a demonic berserker, and she did really good damage there. Anyways. And then she's got Sure Hit on her NP. It's always nice to see that tied to the NP, because that's usually when you need it the most. And then Poison, which is, like, not useful, but, like, the evasion, like, hey, if she wasn't competing with, like, Shiba, yeah, I mean, Shiba's Invuln Pierce has downtime, though, and we're not reviewing her right now, anyways. But yeah, her damage is pretty decent, but it factors in her poor uptime on her 2nd skill, but she has good uptime on her 3rd skill. Yeah, I used her against Momiji, Kijokoya. So, I would put her... I want to put her in A just because we have such Garbo caster options. I think I'll put her in bottom of A. I hope that's not biased speaking, but, like, she, just like Sieg, has her niche that she's pretty damn good at. But aside from that, like, she's completely workable, you know? Only video you refuse to watch is the Shuten and Lacusta video. You hate her? Oh, yeah, because Serenity, yeah. She's what Serenity could have been. Although I do like Serenity's gameplay a bit more. Lacusta is a really funny character, but I don't know. Like, her gameplay doesn't really... I don't know, it doesn't really sell it for me. Okay, so I just mentioned Ketz. And here we are on Ketz. So she's a ruler, which is always a good thing. Like, rulers defensively are just... It's such a good thing to be defensively advantaged, because that means she has the basically double the HP stat. And she actually kind of skews more so towards attack than usual. Hey, Blahats. Hello. Doing an impromptu tier list. And right after that, I'm gonna go to bed, because, like, oh man, I'm only halfway through. Okay, well, there are three of those, so... So, she has pretty decent gains. She's got great hit counts. Buster Quick Deck, 4-hit Quicks, 4-hit Busters, and then she's got a pretty good arts card, too. But I like this skill a lot. I like Sar's per turn, and then, like, it's also an attack buff. So you can use her as a support or as a DPS, and, like, she benefits both. This is a pretty cool skill because of that. Then you've got this one absorb skill, which I feel like they could do something else with it. I feel like what they do these days is put a 20% battery on it, specifically 20%, because they don't want to give 30% targetable to a welfare. But yeah, low cooldown, and it's star generation for 3 turns. Yeah, once again, we're seeing that 30% star generation for 3 turns. It's like the 4th time we've seen it. But yeah, it's nice for her, because she has some crit capacity, and she has Ruler Absorb, which is Saber Absorb. And then Christmas Killing Method, which is not an ominous sounding name at all. She gets 3 turns of Buster. That benefits her MP, it benefits her cards, and then Buster Absorb. So yeah, that's pretty nice, well-rounded. And then here's something you just gotta mention when we're talking about any Kets. That is, Ketses that are actually called Kets. Cuckoo doesn't count, because that's literally one of her problems. She has 46% passive debuff resist. So it's almost a half and half. It's basically a coin flip every time someone tries to debuff her. And if it's heads, they don't debuff her. Alright, so she's got this cool thing going on, where she... it's the same thing that Raiko does, where she increases her crit generation by 100% for 1 turn, so the NP makes more stars, but it has lower hit counts. But she has better hit counts all around, so if she does NP Buster, she's gonna make a ton of stars. So it's sort of like another thing that some welfare later on has. So crit damage, 30% for the team, that's cool. Yeah, she makes stars, and in case... Oh, what the hell is Discord doing to me? Someone pinged me. Who pinged me? Just gonna reduce Discord. Yep. So 30% crit for the entire team, that means even if she doesn't get cards next turn, someone else can crit. So she's like a team crit servant, sort of like Caskill is. And I don't think she's amazing, but I do think she's pretty workable. Just being a ruler, I mean, that gives you a niche against moon cancers. So, yeah. Welcome back, Plushie. So, yeah, she's perfectly usable. I said that a lot. Wait, did Kagetora actually come out after Grey? I guess we did go a really long time before the Case Files rerun. Not as long as before the Requiem rerun, that's for sure. Still waiting on that one. So we got Grey, and I'm got kind of mixed feelings about Grey because I just really am not a fan of the deck. Quick decks on Buster NPs can work, but for that to work, they have to have good NP gain on the quick cards. Like Steno and Carmilla have good NP gain on their cards, but not so much Grey. She has some decent quicks. And her arts card's pretty good too, but yeah, it's just kind of weird. She's got a self 30% attack buff. I like seeing 30% instead of 20%. And like, you don't always need to make it team-wide, so like, more for one is nice for some DPS. And then anti-undead, which is usually not useful, but now we have a servant on JP that you can bring that can force that, and she's even able to support Buster servants, so that's some pretty fat boostage there for her. Then she has this skill. This is sort of the same thing going on as Shuten, except it has a better second effect, I would say, because she actually can make some stars. Shuten doesn't really make stars. So, okay, Shuten doesn't really make stars for her absorb to work, but the one one attack invuln is good. Because like you have a defensive option. Although I just feel like this could have been a one turn invuln instead of one attack, or maybe one attack, no turn count. Her art stares you into your soul. Yeah. Stare. And then she's got. This is oh, dude, I didn't even realize this. Man, people give Santa Jalter shit for having a bad battery skill, and then look at this. This is an objectively worse version of it. It's 20% battery, but it's 20% less debuff resist on a 6-turn cooldown instead of 50% on a 5-turn cooldown. Yeah. But hey, part of the reason why people like it is because it lets her Buster loop. So she has some interesting, like a little bit of passives. She has a crit damage buff, which is alright. She does have some other card buffs, so that can help her crit damage a bit. And then debuff resist is always nice. And NP gain helps her cards a little bit. Not much to say beyond that. Because her NP is Buster, but it got an upgrade. It's Pierce Invuln, which is super nice. That's tied to the NP. And then she refunds 10% all of the time. And you get the quick resist and Buster resist down for 3 turns. So that's almost all of her cards. The only one that it doesn't affect is her arts card. And I kind of wish it was. Yeah. I'm not a fan of her gameplay, but I would say that she is pretty good. I'd say she is, like, about on par. I would say above Spishtar. Spishtar? No, Rishtar. Definitely not above Ishtar. Just because, like, she does have better, like, loopability. Like, if you're running her in a farming comp, then she can 3-turn, but that still takes super scope. I guess you could run a 70% suited, but... okay. But, like, Pierce Invuln is always a really nice niche. She's got some decent damage stuff going on, and then she has the upgraded NP that all sorts of assassin welfares get for some reason. Riztar. Yeah. And then we got Kagetora, which is kind of an interesting one, because she's got some strange opinions, I'd say. So, yeah, controversial opinions. So, she's got good cards. Her arts cards are above average. They're 1.8%. And then she's got, spoiler, she's got several things that help her NP gain. She's got a great quick card. The gain on it is okay, but at 5 hits. That's good. And then she has 2 Buster cards, which I'm not a huge fan of the Buster cards, to be honest. But it is what it is. So her first skill, I just realized it's a worse version of Summer Tongwei's second skill. It's 30% arts for 1 turn, and then absorb for 1 turn, but on a 5-turn cooldown instead of 4. So it's an okay skill. It helps you loop, which is something arts servants like doing. She has a 5-turn cooldown of aid, which is always great. That's always a really nice thing to have. And then it's got NP generation on it for 1 turn. So once again, more 1-turn effects, which is kind of weird. Kind of annoying. Then she's got 20%... So, yeah, that's the end of the 1-turn effects. 20% attack, 20% crit, and 20% star gen. If the... dude, it's... In ways, it is a way worse version of Lakshmi's, because Lakshmi has 20% attack, 50% crit, and 50% star gen, which is actually enough to make more stars, because 20% barely makes any more stars, for most, I'd say. And then it's also on a 5-turn cooldown, but it's 60% chance for 2 of the effects. So, I don't think it's that amazing of a skill. Like, it's a little bit of crit damage, it's alright, but it's... The star rate, it can affect her a bit more, because she does have the 5-hit quick, and then the 4-hit arts, so she can get some slightly better star gen that way. It's just, yeah. And she's already got her absorb skill going on, so, like, eh. It's the same amount of... Yeah, it's basically the same stuff that Hans gives. Like 20% star gen on the NP and 20% attack on the NP. Except less crit damage. It's eh. And then Anti-Rider. Eh. But her NP is really cool. 20% crit rate down for 3 turns. I believe archers cap out at 20%. It's either 10 or 20%. So, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And then she removes offensive buffs, which is awesome. I love it. Like, offensive buff removal, like, look at all these offensive buffs. We see so many of those so often. Let's actually leave out the double hit count one, because we never see that one. So yeah, just, like, working around those, real nice. But, my biggest problem with her is just... She has bad uptime on stuff. Like, this skill, I feel like it could be higher. Okay, wait, hold on. She also has an 8-hit NP. I almost forgot to mention that. But... hold on. So 8 times 0.45. It's 3.6. She can get some pretty good refund, I would say. I will admit that. Like, she can get some good refund in setups, in certain setups, but it's just... I don't know. I don't like the low uptime on the first two skills. Although the, conversely, the evade uptime is good. But yeah, she's one of those that has just, like, a perfectly well-rounded kit. She's not, like, incredible, but she's definitely workable. I'd say I'll put her below... I'll put her below BB. I think BB's more fun than she is. So, A+ tier. I think that's fair. And then we got Hokusai. This is kind of a controversial one. Just because there's so many single-target art sabers these days. Like, holy shit, there's too many. We gotta start getting rid of them. They didn't buff her. They added her to the evocation shop. But she did not get a buff. So, her NP gain is pretty good. Above average, but she has like a quick art stack. She has good hit counts. She literally has the same hit counts as Caster Murasaki, which is 4445. I don't think she has a 6-hit NP. She has an 8-hit NP. So, yeah. Because Murasaki has 44456 on hit counts. Just so good. Like, dude, it's really good. Anyways, so she's got good hit counts. Her gain's pretty decent, so she makes an okay amount of stars. Star Gen isn't really her thing, though. She's got Saber Star Gen. Kagetora at least has Lancer Star Gen. Lancer Star Gen is a little bit higher at base. Still lower than Assassins, but yeah. So her first skill, 20% battery, 20 stars. It's just a little skill that you use to help bridge a loop. Like if you did NP art, and then you almost have your NP, you use that, and then next turn you can use that and crit. So it's pretty cool. I like how that's synced together. This skill, oh my god, I hate this skill, dude. I hate it. 3-turn absorb is always cool, but it's a 1-time 3-turn guts on a 7-turn cooldown. If this was a 6-turn cooldown, I think it would be perfectly fair, because that's basically a modern guts. But it's just like, why 4 turns of downtime? Jeez. Dude, if they made it a 5-turn cooldown, that would be really cool. But, yeah. Yeah, you basically don't use it for the survival. It's just annoying. Then 30% arts, which is always nice. It's 30% boost to the NP. Unfortunately, that's the only boost to the NP that you see on skills, at least. And then crit damage every time she crits. So it's almost really good. If it was every time you attacked, then it would be really good, but you have to crit to be able to crit more, do more crit damage. And see, she has a 20 star bomb. She doesn't have stars per turn. If she had stars per turn, it would be really good. But she can't really sustain crits that well, usually. Anyways, yeah, not much to speak on there. Anti-foreigner, again. But, even though her NP is really vanilla and only has one effect, it does have, it has that Musashi thing going on, where it's 30% NP damage before that. So that's just a big boost in damage. So you got 30% and 30%, so her NP hits pretty hard. Hard. Almost turned to Irish again. I am part Irish, but I'm not that Irish. So, she also has pretty high hit count on her NP. So, similar to Kagetora, you can get some refund going on. It's not like super duper high refund, but it's enough to get you a lot of the way to an NP. Like I'd say it wouldn't be hard to get her to 50%. refund. Like if you're using Castoria and Jufu. And I'd imagine Jufu is really good for her. So, I would put her... at the top of A. I feel like Kagetora has a kit that makes more sense, and she has, like, the evade. And, like, the evade works better. It's better than one-time 3-turn, 7-turn cooldown guts. Like, wait, hold on. Oh, it's only 2k guts, too. It's meh. Similar, if not the same? Nah. Kagetora, even though Kagetora is less on damage, she at least has a lot better survival. Because she has the crit rate down, and then she also has a good evade instead of a bad guts. And guts is, like, generally worse than evade and invuln. Okay, so I like this one. I think this is a really good one, honestly. They're gonna feel like they're the same if you put them with double Castoria. You can say that about most everything, honestly, though. Most things are just gonna feel very similar with that. That's why I usually don't use, like, strong supports. It's because, like, if you put enough big supports on it, you start to lose what really makes that servant unique. Because, like, their damage is just gonna skyrocket, and then their survival will also get a lot better. So, like, at that point in time, like, do you really need to choose? Because, like, if you have one of them, like, you basically have all of them. But yeah, that's just how I enjoy the game. So quick arts deck, and she's got pretty normal gains for that. She's got Archer Absorb, so that helps her get her NP more because she crits more, but that might not entirely be a great thing because she feels more supportive, I would say. So, good hit counts. Just good hit counts all around. Her first skill, low cooldown. Hey look, there's another 3k heal on a 5-turn cooldown. But it's got cool other effects. It's remove 1 buff and then remove 1 debuff. So, it's a shame it's not full on either of those. It would be kind of nuts if it was full on both of those, because then, like, why even have Martha? Yeah, I know, it's AoE. But still, only one... sometimes it's all you need, but other times, like, they spam buffs, and then all you do is remove a 5% crit rate buff. So, this is a cool skill, even though it's a 1-time 3-turn guts on a 7-turn cooldown. Well, it's targetable, so you're probably not going to use that on herself, but it has the added bonus of not only NP damage, which is 30% for 3 turns, which is pretty substantial. It is quite rare to find 3 turns of buff removal resist. Like, targetable at that. Usually it's like 1 turn, or 1 time. We'll see another welfare later that has a very similar thing, but it's only 1 time. And this is just, like, such a good niche. I see her used all the time. I see her used all sorts of places, just because of that. And even me, I've been using her a bit. Yeah, she's the only one that can give 3-turn buff removal resist, I think. I can't think of any others. But yeah, really good. Voice crack. And 20% attack for the party, and then 30% crit, which is, it's good enough numbers. Servant review? Oh, no, dude, man, it says impromptu tier list. Come on. Man, these motherfuckers can't read for shit. I hate it. Hello. Hello, Unafraid. Welcome. I know you feel very welcome after that. But yeah, typical archer passives. Got crit damage, and got debuff resist, and then got Buster, which, it's just a flavor thing, something she carried over from being a Berserker, because, like, one Buster card, and she's also not really much of a DPS. Anti-Avenger, who cares? So she removes offensive buffs with her NP, again, really cool buff, a really cool effect. She removes their ailment debuffs, which is a weird effect, and then she reduces their defense for 3 turns. So those are some nice supportive things, and I know it's kind of funny, because, like, even though this is listed as a demerit, I've only seen this effect come up once. Like, I've never seen it be a problem, but I've seen it be a good thing once. There's a quest, an exhibition quest, during Morganfest, where Ash, the enemy, Ashvataman, he gets a certain number of guts depending on how many burns he has when you break his last bar. So if you use her NP, he doesn't get those guts, which is so funny. Like, it's so niche and specific, but yeah. I guess there is another instance this can be a problem. There are some servants that have damage boosts based off of debuffs. So if you're using her with, like, Yongli Fei or Locusta, then I guess that could be a problem. But, I mean, you can also just, like, use it on a separate turn, because that's linked to their NP. It would be more of a problem for Locusta, though. Yeah, if only she could give buff removal resistance to the enemy, too. But yeah, I almost want to put her in S tier. I'm gonna put her in A++ tier. A+++, that is. Because she has such a good niche that no one really competes with her in. Like, we have Jufu now, but that's, like, the only other free buff removal resist we have, other than a one-time 3-turn kind. Yeah, maybe not for normal play, but, like, there's a lot of boss fights that have buff removal, and if you can use her to deal with that, then, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, another funny thing about using Nightingale with Locusta is for her to do her self-heal, from her poison, she would remove that. And that's one thing I kind of dislike about Locusta. I wish her poison applied as a buff instead. Let me get this drink. Oh yeah, Robin. Yeah, Robin does that too. It's just pretty easy to reapply dots usually, but with Locusta, she has to apply more of them to do more damage. That's why I prefer like 50% to 100% over like 20% per debuff. Okay, so next up we've got someone who is desperately hated. So, Iris is, she's pretty good. I think she is certainly overhated. She is not good for farming. If they changed how her NP worked, then, oh yeah, also thank you for the drink redeem earlier. I don't know if I said that. So, we're on, Iris, or as some people for some reason say Eriche. Also, I don't think they pronounce it that way in games, so, like, yeah. E-Rice. All I know is that she said that it isn't pronounced Elise. Elise. It's similar but different, as she said. Oh yeah, I got it right here. As you can see, This is how you pronounce it. I just have this on my desktop for some reason. Let me remove that then. Okay. So, good gains. Her Sergeant's okay because she's got a 4-hit quick. Honestly, her biggest problem is she has really good competition, or just, like, good enough competition, and she can't do all of the things that they can, because, like, her competition can do a lot of different things. She does some of those things good still, but not all of them. But I like this skill. 2-time 3-turn evasion, and then 3 turns of arts. That helps her with damage, it helps her with NP gain, but I'd prefer it if it was a 5-turn cooldown, honestly. Because it's sort of like a downgrade of protection from arrows in that regard, but you still get 30% arts, which is nice. Yeah, also, looking over there at the previous Arts Lancer, and seeing this skill, yeah, 1 turn 30% versus 3 turn 30%. This is a pretty cool skill. 1 turn of evasion, not evasion, 1 turn of sure hit, and then a star absorb. So she doesn't really, yeah, I mean, she makes a little bit of stars, but like, this is just to make sure you do that. It's sort of like, I mean, it's literally supposed to be a downgrade of Moriarty's first skill, which is so funny because his is an imitation too. Why is his Pierce Invuln and hers is not? Anyways, although I guess she gets more out of this sometimes because Moriarty already has absorb as an archer. They buffed his though. He got ignore defense and stars on it now. He uses a gun. Yeah. So, instant kill chance, which is not the best thing for her, to be honest. But the other effects are nice. Like, she's got crit damage to pair with her absorb buff, and then she's also got servant damage. And that's just, like, one of the best niche mods in the game, in my opinion. Like, like, all of the bosses are servants. I guess there's some story bosses that aren't, but still, there's just, like, every challenge quest has servants, basically. Then she has a little bit of debuff resist. She has more debuff resist against undead enemies, which is... I guess you can do some funny stuff with Summer Woo, and you could give her more debuff resist that way. You're probably better off giving, like... Oh my god, Summer Woo is power creeping Ryouma against, yeah, on supporting her. Oh, dude. 20% debuff resist for 3 turns versus 20% debuff for 3 turns. Plus the debuff clear. Damn. Power creep, I swear. Then... quick performance, crit damage, yeah, and then divinity, who cares? Anti-Lancer, good luck getting Anti-Lancer, because we still haven't gotten coins for her. And then, last up, we've got the NP, which is very similar to another Lancer's NP, not the same card type, but one that we'll be seeing in a second. So, no, not Lancer. The other one's an Assassin. I don't know why. I always think that Kiichi Hougen is a Lancer. She's an Assassin, right? But yeah, instant kill chance, which is unfortunately before damage. And then she also removes defensive buffs, which means that if they have like some sort of hit-based evasion thing, you can use this skill, and she NPs once. She still does damage to them, but now they don't have evade for consecutive turns. Because she uses a lance, yeah. Yeah, basically. So, she's workable. I'd say she has, like, basically everything you need out of a challenge quest DPS. So, I would put her... And she's also arts, which is always good. It's just her... The thing that people give her shit about, like, with the refund getting messed up, it doesn't come up in a challenge quest, usually, because most challenge quests have servants, in which she's actually favored against. So, if you discount farming, then I say she's pretty nice. So, I don't think I'll put her in A+. I think A is fine for her. Because she's definitely better than Starbucks. I kind of want to say she's better than Sieg. But Sieg at least has farming purposes, I guess. I'll put her there. She has some cool niches. Yeah, farming versus challenge quest. I guess I'm not really counting farming that much. I mean, to be fair, I guess we haven't really gone through a lot of farmers here. Like, the ones that are specifically good for farming. Like, I think it's just Gray and, kind of Rishtar. And then Sieg. There's a lot of single targets up here. Actually, no. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so next up, I know someone was saying that they were willing to fight me over this one. Don't worry, I think she's really good too. So, Yu is really good. That is not bad grammar. So, she's got 1.1%, which is really high, even though her hit counts... I would prefer it was a little lower and her hit counts were higher, because then you'd get more stars. But despite that, like, it's okay hit counts. But she's got really good NP gain. So 2.2% arts card, that's good. 3.3% quick card, that's pretty good. And then 4.4% extra, that's pretty good. That's all quite nice. So this first skill is kind of... yeah, dude, this first skill is really good. So, first off, she's got the one-time 5-turn guts thing going on. So basically battle continuation, except it's already better because it has the... Like, dude, 5,000 health. And then 6-turn cooldown. So you got 1 turn less of downtime. How far am I into the welfare list? I'm about halfway. Which sucks, because I got work at 11. That's 9 hours from now. I'll be fine. So yeah, by default, it's already better than battle continuation by a good margin. I guess Summer 5 was a good year for guts, huh? Because you've also got Summer Kiara, who has the most busted guts skill in the game. It's a different discussion, though. But 20% MP gain, so she already has pretty good cards. You increase that by 20%. Bam, great. Then you can also get up to 40% more. Sunlight's pretty common. Waterside isn't as common, but that's great. So if you get 60%, if all of those align, it is so nuts. And also, we have a servant that enables her even more. Granted, he has an 80% chance of each of these fields applying, but he also has the quick buff. Like, he has a quick buff, and his NP reduces quick resist, so he helps her do more damage. And so, Zhang Jue, or Zhang Zhao, I think that's how you pronounce it. If I was going to edit any amount of this VOD for the video, I would put a picture of him up in front. But, yeah. It's gonna be over 2 hours, so not gonna be much editing. So, yeah, that's great. And then next up, we've got targetable NP gauge, but we've also got a taunt. The taunt is not targetable, which I'm not sure if I like that or not. I'm not sure if I don't like that or not, actually, because like it helps her with her own NP gain, and it means you can give that to someone else if she's fine. Because you might want to use the taunt on the NP turn, and you might already have your NP. So you could give that to a support, and then have her still taunt. And like, that's something a lot of people might not really pay attention to. This taunt is so good with her, because not everyone thinks about this. Like, some people know about it, but Lancers get 1% more per defensive hit. So they get 4% instead of 3%. So you got this NP gain here defensively applying. If you use that at the same time as this skill, you're getting a lot of charge. Like, if you only have 40% of this, you're still getting like 5.5%. 5.6%, I think, per hit. So she's getting a lot of NP gain out of it. Or you could just use that like when she's at 0% and she gets a lot of charge out of it. Yeah, it's so good. And it's a good cooldown. Or you can use it to just get rid of her after she NPs. But yeah. And then quick for herself, 3 turns, and then crit damage for the entire party, but it's 50% instead of, something like 20%. Imagine like 20% crit for the team, like on a Lancer. It'd be kind of pathetic. Good thing it's not her, right? Good thing they wouldn't do that. Then anti-caster is pretty nice, but there's actually justification for using her against a caster because she has a niche. Have we seen a super effective niche like this on a welfare yet? I'm not sure if we have. I don't think they've done that. We've had special attacks, but not an actual special super effective mod that directly affects the multiplier. So, anti-male, lots of males. It's great. She already does okay damage against non-males, but then Summerfell. I mean, we haven't seen that so far. Like before her, I don't think we had one. So that's a lot more recent of a one. So we're at year 5 right now. Okay. So I feel like I gotta go with S tier on her, honestly. Her NP gain is so good. She does good damage to male enemies. Like, she's never disappointed me when I've used her. And she actually has some form of survival. She's got team support. She's got all sorts of great stuff going on for her. No one cares about the dot on her NP, of course, but still, so good. I really like her gameplay a lot. And then we have Karna. Which, he's good. Like, his gains are good, his quick card's pretty decent, his arts card's quite nice. Good hit counts all around. This skill annoys me. So it's 3x 3 turn Buster, 3x 3 turn Quick, and then 3 turns of Crit. I wish that they made it so he had 3 turns of Quick instead of 3x 3 turn Quick. Because, I've had times where I wanted to do a Quick chain, and then next turn, okay, I can NP again, but I don't have any more Quick. So, it's annoying having to choose like that, but still 30% is pretty nice. He just doesn't, he lacks the ability to ramp up. But you know what? It's better than 1 turn. Yeah, let's say that. It's better than 1 turn. Because we've seen quite a few that have 1 turn effects worse than that. And then he has a 2-hit evasion for 3 turns, and then a 6-turn cooldown on it. That's good. Absorb, and then he's got quick crit. He basically like pulls a Scotty on himself, and he gives himself 100% quick crit. So that means he has 150% crit damage on his quick cards. And then this is a nice skill. It's a targetable 20% battery, but it also gives them 3-turn debuff immune, which is so good. Like, there are so many times I'd just love to have this on like a support, but like the only one I can think of that does that is our girl Nightingale, the other Nightingale, not the one that's free. Hey Mori, I guess the original one is free, but not if you don't pick that on the ticket. And debuff resist. I mean, he's already got possibly his own debuff immune. And then he's got Buster Crit, passive, which is, it's alright. Not as good as just normal independent action, but yeah. And he's got, see, like, this is what I was talking about. See, Kintoki has that weird scaling on the same overcharge. Because Karna has 20 to 40%, then Kintoki has 10 to 90%. It's just like, why is there such a big disparity here? But I guess it's better at 100% because of that. He also removes guts, which is not always that useful, but hey, it's a thing. So I think he's just a pretty well-rounded servant. He's not like super crazy, but I do think he is pretty solid. So I would say he's definitely better than Hokusai in my opinion. Hokusai only has the advantage of being arts, but like her ability, like she wants to be a crit servant, but she isn't particularly great at it. Like for her to get the crit buffs, she has to crit, and then she doesn't make herself crit that easily for more than one turn at least. Hold on. Had to hydrate. I'm talking like a mile a minute here. But yeah. I think A+ is fair for him. Yeah. Well, the thing about Saberlot is Saberlot does not have as good damage as Hokusai, even after his MP upgrade. Feel like he should be above Kagetora? I don't know, maybe. Kagetora just has the advantage of arts, but she also has good survival. Her survival is better than his. To some extent. Like, his is 2-time 3-turn, but it's 6-turn cooldown. Crit Saber, someone say Ibuki? Someone might have thought Ibuki. So, yeah. Then we've got Kiichi Hougen, who is very forgotten, especially by the people who've made her. So she's got a good arts card, but her quick cards are meh, or very mid at best. So her hit counts are okay. Her Sergeant, it doesn't really come from her quick cards. Like, 3-hit, it's okay. So she has the same skill that Erase has, except it's quick instead of arts. That's why I always like think she's a Lancer. It's because she's a lot like Erase. She has an absorb skill. It's only 200% absorb though, so it's not really that much. It depends on who you're giving it to, but it also gets them NP charge, so yeah. And then we've got this skill, which is, yeah, it's 20% NP rate, 20% attack for the team. So it's okay. She doesn't really have amazing skills, they're just okay skills. She does have EX rank magic resist, that is another thing easy to forget. And then she has arts to help her arts card, I guess. Nothing notorious in append-wise. And then she has defensive buff removal. See, like, dude, this is why I think she's a Lancer. She is so much like Iris. Like, defensive buff removal after NP. She's got the 2-hit evade. Kiichi Hougen, I feel like I'm gonna put right below Iris because they do most of the same stuff. Except one is quick, because she can quick loop. Dude, stop apologizing, dude. This is my choice. Like, it's not your fault. You gave me an idea for content. 6-hour stream inbound? Dude, it's gonna be 6 hours and 10 minutes. Like, in 10 minutes, it will be 6 hours. I wish it would be 6 hours and 10 minutes. But I'm not gonna get through the last, like 15 in that time. Imagine having Scotty. Yeah, I wish my ult had Scotty. So, man, right when Danny raids, damn. I mean, he's probably gonna agree with me on a lot of this stuff, so... so... MIXA, so Mixa, she's... almost... yeah. So, she's got really good cards. Her cards are really good. Like, she's got good hit counts on them. Her arts card is, like, 2.7%, which is very high. And she's got 4-hit quick cards, so that's nice. She's got Star Absorb because she's a foreigner. She's the first foreigner that we've seen here. We've got this skill, which is the same thing that... it's very similar to what Karna has, and I've already laid out the reasons why that's annoying to me. So, 30% 3x3 turn on Buster and Quick, and then 1 evade 3 turns. She's a welfare foreigner. Yeah, see, the thing about her having that going for her, well, we'll get to that in a second. So, then she has this cool crit skill. She already has some absorb, and she's got okay star gen, so 100% crit, that's nice. And then she's got anti-mechanical, which is quite rare, but, like, I mean, the only bosses you'll see that are mechanical are in Olympus, and I would not use her against any of them. Like, none of them are berserkers. And then this skill is like, I mean, hey, it's better than charisma. It's objectively better than charisma, but it's, at least it's party-wide. Party-wide 2K. She has existence outside the domain, so that is a plus. She has, and that actually combos with that for a decent amount of debuff resist, and then she's got Buster up because of that. And she has anti-berserker. I did not know about this. This is actually quite nice. But then her NP, extra damage to evil, which is a good niche. And then anti-quick, no. She's got quick for 1 turn. So she's got okay damage in a vacuum. It's just like, and I guess there are evil berserkers that are pretty common. It's just like, dude, look at what they did in Lost Belt 6. They read her, they made her right before Lost Belt 6. You read it as waifu tier list instead of welfare? Yeah, there's a pretty important distinction to be made there. I don't think I'd ever make a waifu tier list. That's too, yeah, whatever. I don't think people care enough for what I think yet. So So, we got some Berserker bosses in Lost Belt 6. So it makes sense for them to make a welfare foreigner. But she's AoE. And for those who watched my Kiichi Hougen video, which is completely out there, like, it almost sounds unrelated, but like, AoE foreigner is just kind of shit. Yeah, Plushie's here. Like, why bring AoE foreigners? Like, the only times you want an a foreigner is to deal with the Berserker boss. And if you're dealing with the Berserker boss, you can bring anything. If you're up against multiple enemies, and there's, like, multiple Berserkers, well, you can just bring anything else. So, it's just like... they're competing with basically everyone. Which is dumb. Anyways, I'm not sure what to rank her on. I think I should put her in A. I'm gonna put her, like, in bottom of A, because I feel like Shuten has a more distinct role. Like, her niches match up pretty nice, but, like, why AoE foreigner? Okay, to be fair, yeah, I see what chat's going on about right now. So, I think Korean Dark is okay, because, like, even if she's not against Berserkers, she still has some pretty decent damage. Because, like, she's got really good crits. I know people give Cuckoo a lot of credit, but, like, Korean actually has more crit modifiers in her kit. She doesn't crit as consistently as I would say, but like, if she does, for example, an NP Buster chain, if they both do NP Buster chains, Korean Sky has 50% attack, 50% Buster, and 50% crit, whereas Cuckoo has 50% attack, 30% Buster, and 50% crit. And on top of that, whenever Vich uses her NP, she's scaling up her Buster damage. Because she's putting out those debuffs. So, like, I feel like as a boss killer, I feel like Vich is kind of stronger. Because she's also got the offensive buff removal, so she's helping the team out, and then she's also giving them 30% charge, which is helping the team out. Cuckoo is just leaning really hard on the Vich. And that's the big thing. Buster resist down? Yeah, that's what I meant by scaling up her damage. Anyways. That's my opinion on her. I know I use her a lot differently than Plushie does, so I get where he's coming from on it. Then Sitch. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Alright, guys, so... oh, she's not labeled here. Okay, it's because she's... Story completion. So... Yeah, this is the best welfare, in my opinion. Go back down here. Like, people talk about Kintoki being the best welfare, and it's so funny, because first off, he's not the best welfare. Second off, he's not even the best rider welfare. Third off, he's not even the second best rider welfare. There are two rider welfares that, in my opinion, are better than him. And this is just, like, insane. She is so good. Just place her in S, then talk about her. I considered doing that, like, yeah. So, cards-wise, she's pretty alright. She's got decent hit counts, she's got 4 hit quicks. So she makes a little bit of stars. But that's not how she makes stars. So first skill, So we've had this ongoing theme with heals, targetable heals, in like 5-turn cooldowns. She's got a 2k heal on a 3-turn cooldown. It also increases their star gen. That's been another theme. And then it's also got debuff immune for a turn. And debuff immune is so nice. I love it. Like, maybe it's fluffy brain rot kicking in, because I've spent like over 24 hours this last week fighting him. But yeah, I love that stuff. This is a good skill. But then we've got this. It's 3 turns of 30% arts. That's good. Then she gets an 80% battery. 80% battery. Like, okay, so with her second offense, she can immediately NP, whatever the hell her NP is. Like, damn, that's crazy. 2 lures and she instantly NPs. And all of her damage is on this, so if you only care about her farming, you just max 2 skills, and you're good. And then this skill is so absurd! Okay, I'll mention, this does have kind of an annoying cooldown, but I think it's fair. Wario, shut up. Be quieter. So, this skill is, like, so absurd. I used it on Canis a few days ago, and was thoroughly disappointed because I forgot Canis isn't female. But, yeah. Don't worry, she didn't forget she wasn't female. So... Invuln on a female ally for 1 turn. Guts for an ally, 1 time 5 turns. 5k regen on the guts. And then healing regen, 2k for 5 turns. So 10,000 health. And then you also remove their ailments. So, like, dot debuffs like Curse, Burn, and Poison. And then the last thing, it's like, that's such an absurdly good skill. The demerit is she dies at the end of the turn. Which, we know isn't that bad of a thing, because you can just cycle her out for someone else. So she's making someone immortal for a few turns, basically, because, like, you can live for at least 2 more turns as a result of it. And it's on a 10-turn cooldown. And guess what, guys? Easy to forget that because it's targetable, but she's female. She can make herself into a bride, so she has a 10k heal, and then also an invuln on a 10-turn cooldown. So if you want to use her as a DPS, she has her own survival. And that's also kind of why she has the 2k heal on this, because she has a 2k debuff, 2k HP removal on her second skill. She's got 12% crit resist, because why not? That's pretty good too. She has... Wait a second. Why do they do this? She has debuff success. Oh wait, hold on. No. So... And then she has anti-berserker. I forgot she has anti-berserker. Like, dude, so she nukes berserkers. And then she has the same... The Hokusai thing that we got earlier. 30% NP damage for 4 damage. And then ignores defense buffs. And then she makes stars on her NP. And she reduces her star absorption in case you're using her for supporting. And, like, arts NPs that make stars are so nice. Because they're balanced. Look, that's the thing about arts. It makes no stars. And then, yeah. So, what I oftentimes do, I give her something like Charge on Death. She'll come in, she'll pop this, she'll heal one teammate a little bit, and then she NPs, uses this, she makes stars for the next turn, she cycles out. Next turn, I've got whatever. I'll usually put her in the back of the party, so she can... like, come in at the very last bit, and then, like, my female DPS, she is almost dead, and then she can just do that, and then bam, she's going to live like another 3 turns at least. Unless she's Canis. Man, I hate that. But yeah, oh, also she can Castoria loop. Yeah. She can loop without Castoria, I'm pretty sure. It's like 80% battery, that gets you most of the way there. Then she's got good enough refund. They just went all out on her. Like, she's... yeah. You're pretty disheartened to find out if you use Habitron in the solo, it's not considered legit. I mean, yeah. Yeah, you're adding so many turns of survival there. But yeah, I'm putting her top of S tier. So, yeah. I rest my case. The best welfare we have. So, next up we've got Da Vinci Ruler, who's a bit of a downgrade for sure. But, like, I mean, like, you hit the peak, like, anything else is gonna look low. Once you're at the top of the mountain, everything is below you anyways, so, yeah. So, Buster Arts deck, she actually has pretty good NP gain for that, that deck, because that's 2.01% arts cards. So that's good. 3-3-3-3. So her extra attack is actually not good. It actually sucks, but her arts cards are good, so that's nice. So she's kind of like a semi-support DPS thing. She can target a 20% rainbow buff for one ally, so she can use it on herself for her damage, or she can use it on someone else if you're trying to make them loot better or whatever. It's nice. And then 20% targetable charge, 30% NP generation for 3 turns. So, yeah, that's pretty good. You know, I never thought of it, but she does a lot of what Gifu does. She just has 10% less charge. Man, I never thought of that. Wow. Wow, she really does, doesn't she? And then she gives them NP damage for 3 turns. So, like, if you're just trying to use Shifu for looping, you can also use her. But sometimes you need the extra 10%. But yeah, 3 turns of NP damage. And then 1 overcharge for 1 turn. Unfortunately, she kept that from her Rider version. And then crit chance down. That's all cool. Like, she's a ruler. You can use her against anything. And then she's got a weird NP that people have mixed feelings about. So she does not give a shit what kind of bullet she's taking. She just, like, reaches in her back pocket and goes with whatever she gets. And she... let me skip the song because it's too quiet. So, she either makes stars with the green bullet, because it's quick. She makes team charge with a blue bullet, or gives the team 20% attack with a red bullet. All 3 of them are good effects. And like, I'm rarely in a place where I don't want any of these effects. And it happens after the NP, so it's not like I'm gonna, like, try to RNG it because I want more damage. But yeah, it's always a Buster NP, by the way. Gotta emphasize that. And then she gets NP damage for 1 turn before it. So she's got pretty decent damage. That's assuming you use it for herself. But yeah, basically, like, either blue bullet happens and you make more charge for next turn, or green bullet happens and next turn you make more charge for the turn after that, or you get attack and more damage. So, yeah, I'd say she is up here on a solid A. I feel like she's more usable than a lot of these, just because you can use her as a support or a DPS. You like RNG effects for skills and NPs? It makes more interesting. Plushie, I think we found the Saber Liz fan. speaking of Liz... Yeah, ain't no way. Speaking of Liz, here's a good one. So... I was talking about 2 writer welfares being better than writer Kintoki. Yeah. So, Buster Arts deck, she actually has a little bit above average arts cards, I would say. Hold on. It's actually about average, never mind. But her quick card's good. 4 hit. It's nice for hit counts. See, I know what all to not say in this, because I made sure to read Rathalal's review of her yesterday. So I'm not going to make as many Halloween puns. Don't worry. We're good. So, first skill, 3 time 3 turn on a 5-turn cooldown invuln. So, in a lot of instances, this is just flat out better than protection from arrows. I mean, actually, a lot of instances, it's basically equal, but some situations, it's just better. Then she has NP Jin for 3 turns, which, by the way, like, you're using her against casters, she has Rider Absorb, so she's critting more often, so her arts cards are really good because of that. So, let me plug it in, plug numbers in right quick. 1.3 times 0.87 times 2. So, 2.26% arts cards. That's really good. She spams good. She also gets a poison debuff, which is absolutely abhorrent, and yeah. Then she gets 3 turns of Buster, which is okay. It's 30%. It's NP damage. And then she also has Anti-Wild Beast, which is rare. But she also has 10% defense down, which is, oh my god, it's so much of a problem with this invuln skill we have here. We have, yeah, Ozzy is free, so why use her? And then her third skill is so good. It's crit stars, it's NP gauge, but it's also a skill steal. But it's on a 4-turn cooldown. So something important to note that Wrath just fucking completely ignored was, like, there is actually a problem with the skill seal. If you don't remove the skill seal, like, it's not just turn order thing. It's not like, oh, use the other 2 and then nothing happens. Because skill seal will delay your cooldowns. Yeah, I'm gonna upload this on YouTube. Yeah, so if you don't deal with the skill seal debuff, this is a 5-turn cooldown, and the other 2 skills are 6-turn cooldowns. But it's not that hard to deal with. Anti-Foreigner, ew. So her NP removes her debuffs before damage. So if you have any sort of debuffs, like if you have offensive debuffs, or if you use all your skills and you have 3 debuffs, you get rid of those before that. And then after the damage, you give Fairy Tail Servants 20% attack. Which is niche, but like you also have to look at the fact that she herself is a Fairy Tail Servant. So, she gets 20% attack every time she NPs. So she's got pretty good damage because of it. And she scales up her damage. And, like, 30% battery. And, like, if you want a 3-turn with her, you don't even need any sort of cards to do so. Because 30% battery on a low cooldown. Dude, she is, like, top tier. Like, she is so good. If it's between her and Chloe, though, I'm not sure. Chloe's really good. She's good for spamming. I feel like Rider Liz is just so much better, though. Maybe not so much better, it's just like one's arts and this Buster. So we were on a streak with really good welfares. Unfortunately, we're going to start descending here. For a little bit. Not for much, but... we have Ranmaru. This is Mori's brother-sister. Ranmaru. They're ginger their gender is Ranmaru. Unknown. So Buster Arts deck, they have the, I think they have the worst arts card in the game. So make of that what you will. Then you've also got a meh at best quick card. So yeah, just not great in that regard. Well, I guess at least she's feminine looking because she can benefit from Marianning. I guess that's one nice thing. So, despite being an Avenger, an AoE Arts Avenger, she actually does crit really easily. So, I'm gonna keep saying she because, like, yeah, whatever. So, her crit damage for 1 turn, 50% on a 4-turn cooldown, debuff removal, absorb, so that helps deal with that absorb problem that some Avengers can have. And then 4-turn cooldown, that's nice. It's all targetable, so I don't really want to use it targetable, but that's a thing, I guess. 40% chance of charming all enemies, which is very small. However, you can work with certain servants to help work past that. Like, for example, I wanted to make a video a long time ago of her working with Summer Murasaki, because she applies 100% debuff resist down. But there's also other ones like Fuma. Fuma can guarantee the charm, because he has 100% debuff resist down AoE, which is, that's really nice. But aside from that, it's also 20% defense down and 10 stars. In a lot of the time, it's a better version of Shuten's first skill, because lower cooldown and more star, and you get stars. That's fair. Man, her skills, dude. And then arts for 3 turns, 30%. Man, Shuten just really, I really want to buff her. 20% charge, and then 10 more stars. So you could go into a turn with basically no stars, and you can still potentially crit because you got the absorb, and then 20 stars on the skills. Then she has like a fuck ton of passives for some reason, looking like Dioscuri out here. So Avenger passives as usual. Passive 2% crit. Nice. Passive 3% arts, then 3% charge per turn, which matters because she is pretty shit for games. And then 2 stars per turn because, hey, Van Gogh synergy, I guess. Existence outside the domain. And then a decent amount of debuff resist, and then burn debuff immune, which is pretty niche, but I guess, like, it's something. Anti-caster, so, like, that means it's better for refund. Speaking of refund, Castoria compatible, kinda. Ignores defense, so it's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice effect, but also Stargen before damage, which looks weird, but I mean, like, it means you're gonna get, like, at least 12 stars, if you're up against 3 enemies. And if you're using a Brave Chain, like, you can easily make 20 plus. So, yeah, that, and then you got the absorb. So she crits actually really easily. I've used her a little bit. But her game it takes a lot to get over. So, Welfare Avenger, that is nice. It's not like we have another free Avenger. Like, the only other cheap Avenger that we have is still in Gacha, because he's story locked. So, he's harder to get than most. So, I would say that since she's workable, I would put her down here. I'd say, like, right above. I'd say she's about on par with Mixa. Anyways. So So, actually, yeah, we're looking pretty good on welfares from here on out, as I can see. Yeah. So Martha Santa is another really nice one. So she's a support. Her arts cards are pretty good, because, like, it's 2 arts cards and on a quick arts deck, and she's got almost 2% arts cards. And then she has an arts passive, because she's a caster, so, yeah, over 2%, that's nice. And then she's got 2 quick cards that are good hit counts. So that's good. Buster card, why would you ever care? I guess if you're, like, starting a damage chain and you don't have enough of the DPS cards. So, first skill is targetable 20% battery, 2000 HP, and then 30% attack for 3 turns. That's a pretty nice amount. And you stack that on top of this, which is 20% defense down for the entire enemy team and an NP seal. So, a little bit of damage control there. And you got 50% attack just on the skills. And then you've got 10 stars and crit absorb, 5,000%. So it's actually enough to guarantee someone gets some good stars. And that's like, so like that plus those two, 50% attack. Yeah, and then she also gets herself a 30% battery. That is not targetable. It would be kind of nuts if they made a 50% targetable charger. And that was a welfare. So yeah, really, really good skills, I would say. But her NP is also really good. So, non-damaging, it's a cooking NP. It's not fortress type, it's cooking type. So, team 20% attack, so already looking really nice there. Then team 30 to 50% anti-demon, divine, or undead damage. So, 50% if they're divine, because like divine is the one that's going to come up most. If you're using Summer Woo, you can actually force that, so that's really good. And then 20 stars. It's a quick NP, which okay. And then the overcharge is team HP regen. Not regen, it's just a team heal. So for a while, people thought this was kind of a weird one to have. Like, okay, yeah, she's really niche, but the NP might make it a bit awkward. Mighty Chains have made this NP so much better, because you can start a chain with a quick card, and then follow it up with an Arts and Buster card, and you get, like, some good crits going on, and then you set up the next turn to be another crit turn, because she's got 20 stars. It just gels so well. And then, like, Super Recollection quests, she was amazing on those because there were so many divine enemies. But yeah, she's just aged. I mean, she hasn't really aged at all. I mean, she is literally younger than the other Marthas. So she's definitely S tier. I want to put her up here just because she's supportive. And, like, I mean, DPSs are basically never as viable as just being a good support, because you're going to bring more supports on a team than you're going to bring DPSs most of the time. Although, just stacking DPSs can work sometimes. Game isn't that hard most of the time. So that's... she's excellent. She's a lot of fun. Her only problem is she really doesn't give you much for survival. But, like, I mean... Oh, something else I forgot to mention. So, buff stacking-wise, part of the reason why her damage buff stacking is so good is because a lot of this is... So, like, I mean, it's already a lot. It's 70% attack and 50% special attack. But the reason why that is so insanely good is because all of the other good supports have card buffs. Like, if you're using budget stuff, you're using Qingong, you're using Mozart. They have card buffs. They don't have attack buffs. They don't have special attack buffs. So you're getting, like, the best multiplicative damage you can get. And even if you're going up on the high end, like, Vich is giving you 50% Buster. Then you got Castoria with 20% arts, but 50% card. Everyone is skewing largely towards card buffs, and she is not going that direction at all. So you can just maximize your damage really well with her. She is just so good. So this is another one. I've found him quite fun. He's got some really interesting things he can do. And I think he's just generally pretty decent. So arts cards are a little below average, I would say, because they're like below 1.5%, and he's actually got a quick arts deck. I don't think it's too bad of a thing, though, because of how his kit works. He's also got some decent hit counts on his, I say decent, good hit counts on his quick cards. Yeah, he's a Pokemon character, basically. Same artist. And then this first skill, it's a pretty good skill. 10 stars per turn, 20% arts, 20% NP rate for the entire team. So half of the time you're more likely to crit, and you're getting a pretty nice boost in your arts NP gain. So that's some nice stuff. It helps him out with his looping, that's for sure. And his cards are decent because of that. So he has Shiro as his second skill. Take of that what you will. So it's targetable guts, 1 time 3 turn, 6 turn cooldown. It's also got debuff immune and buff removal resist for 1 time each. So when I use him, I find myself like varying who I put it on, because like I'll put like all my buffs on top of him. So like if I'm using Castoria with him, then I'll put the Invuln on him. But what if I want Castoria to live? I can just put that on her. So yeah, it works out pretty nice. And I love that they portioned it the way that they did, because like, for example, if I was trying to use Summer Nightingale, yeah, if only. If I was trying to use Santa Nightingale as a DPS, which I wouldn't, I don't like her that much. I do like Nightingale, but I would have found that conflicting, because she has her NP damage buff on that, and I don't want to put that on my Hans. But since there's no offensive anything on this, then there's no reason to just not give it to some ally. What event is he from? He's from the... what's it called? Water Island Emergency something. I don't remember what it's called. Hold on. Sea Monster Crisis. Yeah. Yeah, nailed it. That was basically the same name. I just spew out a bunch of words. Yeah. Water Island place. Emergency water monster on island crisis. I mean, we go to an island, there's water, it's emergency, it's... his third skill is controversial, because like people hate skill seal for a lot of reasons. So AoE skill seal, it means the enemy attacks more, and then NP damage for 3 turns and NP charge. So yes, 30% battery, it's good. Avatar 3, yeah. But like the thing I like about skill seal is it means you're more likely to get attacked. That in tandem with this this NP gain buff, that means you're going to get a bit more out of being attacked. And then like you've also got this the fact that he gets 4% because he's an alter ego, so you actually get almost 5% per hit you take. So there's some positives of it. I'd say most of the time it just doesn't matter, because like, I mean, cool. Skill Seal is going to remove the chance that they might not attack all of those times. Okay, as opposed to them most likely not going to be attacking. Like, they're more likely to attack. Anyways. So, his append is really nice. He has anti-assassin, so you can kind of use him as an AoE caster. Skill Seal is overhated. Yeah. Yeah, there's some servants that appreciate it. If it's on an art servant, I don't think it's as bad, because, like, with art servants, you use them in teams where you're going to be spamming NPs more often. So you're going to be able to deal with that added damage you take. So, like, you'd be using someone like Mash or Hans or Castoria, and because of that, you're taking more hits, which means you're more likely to get your NP again. Yeah, Edison is another one like that, because he's also debilitating their damage, because it's hard for them to crit, and they lose attack because of it. Yeah. Yeah, Edison is a lot of fun. I'm glad I maxed him out. So his NP is weird. Some people, I've seen some people talk about how he is, like, amazing for curse stacking. He really isn't. It's just very specific situations he's disproportionately good at it. But basically, he debuffs them before he does damage, and if they die when they have this debuff, everyone who is still on the field gets 20% defense down for 3 turns, and they get evil curse, so they get 100% more curse for 3 turns, and they get 1,000 curse damage. So he can make them take a good bit of curse damage, and then he also applies 2,000 curse on top of that. But the thing is, like, people have to die for him to do a lot of curse stacking. But I say this as a person, as the person who I would say has the record for dot damage. Like, the most dot damage in one turn, because I've never seen anyone do more. I did 1.5 million in one turn. 1.5 million curse damage. I've never seen anyone else do 7 digits. So yeah, like, if you use them in specific types of, challenge quests where there's 6 enemies, then yeah, you can get a lot done. Like the Darius quest, that's one of them. There's also the Mouse challenge quest. I used 2 of them. I highly recommend that video. It's a hilarious video. You guys should go watch it. It's on my YouTube channel, and it's titled The Most Cursed Video on Most Cursed FGO video or something like that. It's from like almost 2 years ago now, but still, a year and a half. It's been a little over a year. Yeah. Oh, dude, his Noble Phantasm type is Calamity. That's another non-anti NP. Oh, also he has Anti-Man. Yeah, he has that too. So, if he's up against an Assassin Min, he does really good damage, honestly. And he's going to be out damaging a good amount of AoE casters because of it, because he's also NP5. So I think he's a pretty underrated option. I would put him... I think he's definitely better than Sieg. Because, like, dude, he's more applicable than Sieg. Because you can use him against assassins. I'm pretty sure you could do more damage with him against assassins. And he's not as good at arts looping. His loop specs are a lot tighter. But you can still make him work. You could just plug someone in. Like, people give art servants a lot of shit for requiring plug. But, I mean, like, then they praise the fuck out of Buster, even though basically every Buster servant ever needs plug suit. So, yeah, not a double standard at all. Um, I'll put him up here. No. I can't justify him above Kagetora, because Kagetora is actually going to be, doing counterclassing stuff, because he is an alter ego at the end of the day. Even if he is good, he's still going to, like, he's not going to defensively be a mate, so... Okay, and we're almost done here. Thank God, it's 3 a.m. We've been recording for over 3 hours. 3.5 hours now. So, we've got the Valks. I'm just gonna go through, like, one of them, because, like, obviously they'll have the same gameplay. I do prefer Thrud. I like that she quacks normally, but unfortunately she doesn't quack as an assassin, so it's already a downgrade. Whereas Small Liz, she is the most recent. I think she is... yeah, she's one of the most recent. They've been focusing more so on giving us old welfares than new ones as of late, because they've only given us, like, one this year. But yeah, oh, right, yeah. They have the worst starts card. So, Quick Arts deck, they have the worst starts card, but the good thing, though, like, even though they have the worst starts card, they have the best quick card, because it is a 0.69% quick card. So, their first skill, it's Quicken Arts for 3 turns, so it helps a little bit on their NP gain. And they've also got 3 crit buffs, so 3 100% crits. It's a pretty well-rounded skill, I'd say. And I like that it's not 1 turn, because you might not crit with, like, what you used, so yeah. What a competition for the bottom. I mean, can you blame me? You see what happened on Summer 7? Anyways, yeah, that was not a well-executed joke at all. So, let's just move past that. So, they Team Charisma, and then a one-time evasion for 3 turns for the entire team, which I really like that. Because that's potentially an AoE NP you're just completely denying. You can also precast it if you're using a taunt and use it to deal with an NP. And it helps them deal with their shit NP generation. But despite that, even though they have 20% arts and 20% quick and 20% NP gen, they're still not getting much gain. And then the third skill, like, they got 20% NP charge, got a 20 star bomb, and a 3k heal. It's slightly higher in cooldown than most of the heals, but it's a good skill still. Does Bryn count as Valkyrie? Pretty sure she does. Yep. As expected. So, they've got Anti-Saber, which is... it's okay. They have Anti-Earth on their NP, which is nice. And unlike their Lancer version, yeah, they do have the insta-kill demonic enemies thing going on, but but they also have something else on top of it. And they can't kill before damage. I don't think the Lancer Valks can kill before damage. Yeah. Anyways, it's a pretty good NP, but the thing that is just kind of nuts about this, the hit count is very high, and they didn't scuff it like Caskill's high NP hit count. So as a result of it, let me pull up the number right quick. So 0.23 times 3 times 10. So at base their NP is 6.9%. So nice Nice, nice, nice. Then they also have like the NP gain and the arts buffs, so they make a little bit of stars on their NP because they're assassins and they have passive star gen buffs. And then they also like get insane refund. They've got some of the best arts refund out of all AoE servants. So that's kind of why they have shit card gain. They swapped it around so they do that with some servants. They did it with Duryodhana because they both have good arts refund, like arts NP refund, but they didn't want their cards to also be good. So they nerfed the cards really bad. Which is a real shame, but hey, it makes them good in farming. I'm fine with A++++. I feel... yeah, they got good damage. And then I'm gonna put the other two in A+, because they don't quack. Actually, I don't know. Hilder does say magazine changey. That's a funny voice line. I don't know, though. It got a little annoying on the summer challenge quest. Why do they like giving summer servants guns? I mean, to be fair, a lot of them are water guns. Anyways, on to Io, who people have really taken a nice liking to, for farming reasons, because she has a certain niche that is super nice. Good. So she's got sort of typical NP gain, I would say. Quick art deck. She's a ruler, which is always a really nice thing, because defensively. It's been a couple hours since I said that last, but still. And then she has arts for 3 turns, 30% as per usual, and then she has 50% anti-divine. The curse, the curse is like if you're using her for curse shenanigans, but a lot of curse, like the best curse servants are quick, so you're probably not going to be pairing her with those. She is lawful evil though, so I guess she kind of gets some stuff from Domon. But yeah, pretty good skill. Then there's this skill, which is 30% charge. She gets Arts Absorb and Arts Crit 100%, which is quite substantial. And then she's got a Charisma skill with crit damage for Wild Beast allies, which sounds pretty niche. And then, like, also 10 stars to help you crit on this skill. But then you look over here, she's got a passive that makes herself a wild beast. So she herself gets 150% crit for her arts cards. Then she's got an arts passive. She's got she has a very similar thing going on that Himiko does. Himiko has curse and poison immune, I believe, whereas she has burn and poison immune. And that's pretty nice. I've found dots really annoying to deal with in the past. So, wait, hold on a second. I think it was... Oh my god, I think one of my tabs was playing something on YouTube for, like, a while. But I had YouTube muted. Like, I had the YouTube site muted because of that, because of that guy that redeemed the Brazilian Cartman dub thing of playing FGO. Like, oh my god, that shit was so funny. Like, it's just so out of nowhere. So many people have no idea what that was about. Some guy came through. I think he typed in, he left one comment that said Fate, and then a YouTube link. And the YouTube link, when you open it up, It's this this AI-generated Cartman speaking Portuguese while playing FGO. It had like 4 views, or 8 views. So I think what he was doing, I think he ran into a bunch of other chats and just dropped that there. Oh, did he? Oh, yeah, some of you guys might have seen it in other chats. I hope you did, because that shit was so funny. Like, I mean, the video itself, I don't think it probably would be funny, but, like, I don't know, just the absurdity of what happened is so funny to me. Anyways, back to EO. She's got a 3-turn NP damage buff. It's only 10%, but it's before damage, so she can ramp up on consecutive NPs. So if you loop, you get rewarded for it. I always like that. It's like, if you're an art servant, you want to loop, so you want to be rewarded for it. That's why 1-turn arts buffs suck. So, she also inflicts evil curse on them, so she boosts curse damage, and she also inflicts curse on them. So, and you can get some curse stuff. You can get some curse damage with her, but she's behind on curse damage because basically most, if not all, of the other good curse stackers have 5 turns. And, like, ramping up for 5 turns is better than ramping up for 3 turns. So, yeah. It is what it is. So I think she's really solid. People have found her extremely useful because she is Castoria compatible, and there's a lot of 90++ nodes that have divine enemies. So she's been the ticket out of those annoyances for quite a few. So I'll put her in... I'll put her in A++ tier. I don't like her gameplay personally, but I know that she's very useful. So yeah. That's what I think about her. I don't know, I think what really ruined her for me is the fact that Ninja kept making me use her against the dragon, and like using an AoE art servant against a single enemy. It could be kind of annoying. It's got 18 views now. Damn. So, next up, we have Pretender Liz, 9 Tattoo Dragon Eliza. The only welfare pretender. So, Chaotic Evil. Didn't know that, but... She's a lot of things. Most people don't like her because, like, what the fuck is this thing, dude? It's a goddamn gremlin. But it's wearing pink. She got shoes. Yeah, she's got Sonic shoes going on. They're just massive. So she's got good internals. She's got a Buster Quick deck. Usually modern Buster Quick servants have good internals. So 0.77%, that means she's got over a 2% arts card. And she's got some okay quick cards, I'd say. And they're actually above average. They're about 3%. That's good. So she also has some good base star generation, but I believe that's more of a pretender thing. So this skill is a mile high to read. So it increases the team's attack. It increases crit damage. Okay, so these are all by 20%, except for the Star Obstacle. So she gives lawful allies crit damage for 3 turns. She gives neutral allies NP damage for 3 turns, and she gives chaotic allies NP gain for 3 turns. And everyone gets a Mount Leon trait, which it's useful for other things. I think it's something she has. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. There's only a couple servants that have it. It's Huyon and Yansheng, I believe. So, she also gets her own absorb for 1 turn, and then, yeah, that's it. It's a pretty good skill. Like, what she gets out of it, since she's chaotic evil, she gets NP gain, so yeah, it's alright. It'd be cool if she could be like more of these things. Like if she had a passive, like sort of like EO, if she had a passive that gave her the rest of them as well, that would be pretty cool. She can't Buster Loop. I mean, you can use her with double Oberon, but that's most anything. So, team 20% battery, if you use her first skill first, and then it's team 20%. And then team 2000 HP, and debuff resist down. It's only 20%, it's not that huge, I would say, most of the time. I mean, she already has no debuff resist, so most of the time it's not a problem. But yeah, 2000 HP up, that's generally better than a heal. And it's like for the whole team. It's alright. And then we have 30% Buster for 3 turns, 30% Quick for 3 turns, and 30% Crit for 3 turns, which adds up to pretty good card damage buffs. And she's got her own little additional Stargen buff here. So she's almost like assassin levels with the Stargen buffs she has. And we're not even done with that. But yeah, passive crit buff, and she's got good card damage. Her damage is just all around pretty good. Anti-assassin, like she's a pretender. You know. Berserker say. I think I used her like a few months ago. She just shredded it. I'll get to that in a minute. We're almost done here, and I'll probably end stream after that. So, AoE NP hits 9 times, but she increases her Star Gem before that, which by 50%, but it's basically, yeah, she's gonna make a bunch of stars with it, because she already has good passive Star Gem, then she's got another passive that increases her Star Gem, and then 50% more. It's good. And then NP damage, so it's always a nice thing to have on there. Unfortunately, only 1 turn, not 3. Not everyone can be Ishtar. Or EO. And then 10% defense down. So, she's all around, like, I mean, her only issue really is her, the fact that she's a pretender, which is kind of a mid-class. It's just like a different flavor of alter ego. But she all around is pretty good. I just used her earlier today, and she definitely outperformed Tlaloc. Yeah. Just saying. I don't know if I'll make that a video. It was funny. I think I would put her up here. I'd say below Taisui. Taisui is easier to make work. So, I like that. And then last up is Satanta. So, he's got the Yagyu attack stat here at 99.99. Didn't notice that before. So, quick arts deck. Yeah, Ku Jr. So, he's got about average arts cards, I'd say. Average for a Buster deck. That is a Buster arts deck. But he's got quick cards instead, and his quick cards are alright. So, good Stargen to be done there. He's got a self 20% attack buff for 3 turns. And he's got a debuff clear. I like debuff clears. And then he also gets stars. So it's an okay, just well-rounded skill. It's not much. Increases his own damage against wild beast enemies. So yeah, fuck you, EO, I guess. And then Also, quick performance. So another small 20% number. And you hate to see it, but well, it is what it is. But yeah, he's taking after Protoku in that regard. And then last, he's got... he has... This is supposed to be like a side grade of Scathach. Man, I'm so used to saying Scath, but I was trying to say Scathach. The right way you say it is so particular, and it just doesn't gel with normal English speech. Anyways, her first skill, this is basically a side grade of that. So, you get 2-time, 3-turn evade. It's on a 1-turn higher cooldown. You get less crit damage, but like once you max it out, you actually are guaranteed crit damage and such. So, unlike Scath, who has to use her second skill before it just to guarantee it. Just say Shisho. But dude, I'm not that much of a weeb. I can't just go around saying their names saying names of characters in other languages. That's totally not what I'm fucking doing already. I could call her Shisho, I guess. So, anti-assassin, whatever. Then he's got Ignore Evasion. I'm not calling her Scat. No. I'm just not. So, ignores defense like Protoku does, ignores evasion like Ojiku does, and then also reduces defense. So, yeah, he's just got a really well-rounded kit. He's super vanilla, but like he has everything you want for a crit DPS. He has his own niche that is kind of rare, but he also has like some good utility. Ojiku ignores defense. No, Protoku ignores defense. Yeah, that's what I was saying, because Protoku doesn't ignore evasion. I might have said it backwards, I'm not sure. Anyways. Yeah, I feel like he's really boring, but, like, he's not bad. Like, boring isn't inherently bad. So, with him, I feel like I would put him up here with Shiki. I don't think he is super groundbreaking. But, like, I don't know. Being quick kind of holds some servants back. He's not, like, he doesn't have a crazy good niche like Yu does. Because, like, Yu is quick. And she's, like, the highest rated quick. And he doesn't quite have the NP spam that the others do. Like, the other quicks have good NP spam, or they're just a support. These two are supports. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'll stick for on that. So, I'm not going to go through these 3 1-stars. I don't really feel like going through them. And I didn't realize that they were there at the beginning. So, they're just gonna sit there. They're not the same type of welfares anyways. Because, like, these ones you're just gonna get regardless of whether or not you want to. But, like, if this list will ever be helpful, it might be helpful in a person picking, like, sometime years in the future, what they want from the evocation shop. 7-hour stream? I'm about at 7 hours. Ah, jeez. This is a long-ass stream, dude. This might be the longest welfare stream tier list. Longest welfare tier list stream. Tier list, yeah. Anyways, these ones you're just going to get regardless. But with evocation, the evocation shop, you're not going to immediately be able to buy everything. But Mecha Eli, I'm gonna put her above that one. I like the silver one more. Anyways, let me put it up a bit closer so it's easier for people to see at the end. because hello, people who skipped to the end of the video. Thank you for caring enough about what I have to say, but it doesn't really matter anyways. So there we go. That's what we're ending with. Well, unless we want to change something. Maybe we want to change something. But I'm not sure what I want to change. Man, Nobu all alone here in B tier. Like, everyone is, like, up in the... Okay, yeah, I gotta move some of the B pluses down to B. Like, I feel like it's just kind of wrong. Like, how is everyone slightly better than Nobu? I think I'm fine with that. Because, like, the order is probably not going to change much unless I think they're not placed very well. So I'll just, like, move them down. I'm not planning on pulling a Tesla like I did last time and just, like, last second of the video being like, oh, yeah, Tesla goes on. Yeah, hello, cheaters. Thank you for being here. Hello, cheaters. Hello, pumpkin eaters. You pumpkin eaters may be glad to know that the pumpkin witch is in B tier. Anyways, yeah, that's I think that's gonna be a wrap for me. I am eagerly looking at this thing just in case I want to change something at the last second, and I can't think of it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and have a good one.